Hey, Eric.
Hey, Chris.
Now, I would like to enter a pact with you right now. Okay, are you ready to enter a pact?
Another one? Yes.
What was the first one's with the Nerf guns,
The loaded
right?
Nerf guns.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this pact is to finish the Suikoden podcast on this episode for a particular reason.
You want me to tell you the answer?
Yes, I want to get to that too, but also me, myself, personally, and probably the listener of Retrograde Amnesia is hungry for Suikoden 2. And I just want to I want the people to be able to get to it next week.
You've had your 22-course appetizer for the true meaning of Season 4. Is that the answer, is get to Suikoden 2?
It is the answer, because I started playing a little bit ahead, and that's going to make a great podcast.
Okay, good.
So I'm really looking forward to getting into that, and the people want to get to it, I think, especially those who are big fans of that game, because as it turns out, I've forgotten more about that game than I realize.
So these past 4 months of shows have been leading up to this point in time.
Would you like to hear some hot sounds?
Yes.
Okay, great. Welcome to Retrograde Amnesia, a comprehensive podcast where we discuss classic JRPGs, chapter by chapter, beat by beat. This is Season 4, Part 1, where we are covering Suikoden. Next week, we'll be moving to Suikoden 2, as we said. My name is Chris. I am joined here as my star of co-host,
Current production human companion.
guy, Eric. Hey, Eric, what's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm going to go full mouth, full mode on this podcast tonight.
Oh, mouth, did you get that Kirby?
Yeah, I'm not going to play anytime soon, but I bought it. Sure.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you want to borrow it, you can go break into my kid's room and steal it from him.
Hell yeah.
I think he already beat it. We are also joined by the RealNet, the collective of patrons who are listening to us record live and watching us too, for that matter. You too can do this at patreon.com/retroam. If you support us, please do. This episode is brought to you by Wayne.
Oh.
Wayne's cool. Me and Wayne might hang out soon.
Okay.
I'm
Great.
going to be in the area. So thank you, Wayne, for your support. Thanks for being part of the community. We'll see you soon. Or in the past.
Wayne and I have eaten at the same pizza place.
It was a great time. First retrograde meetup, maybe.
Second.
Assuming that everything works out.
We're also joined by the Fakenet, our post-production AI companion and finder of sick, perverse pleasure, and the slappers-only multiplayer option in GoldenEye 007.
Initializing FakeNet.
I like when men, women, and helicopter pilots lock themselves into complex and facility and slappity slap their flesh. The sound. Oh God, the sound. It soothes my electronic soul.
I think I'm one of the very few people that GoldenEye did not have a profound impact on me.
That's all I did for a year.
Yeah. So there's where we differ a little bit. I was not a Nintendo 64 haver when that was a thing, a cultural thing for high schoolers at the time. I played it a little bit, but whenever you go to somebody's house and play a game like that they play all the time, you can't have fun.
I mean, there's a little bit of a handicap. You just pick odd job.
Yeah.
A little bit, but it can only take you so far.
Yeah. You can't do it.
I can't do it.
There's proximity mines in the walls.
Yeah, it's not great.
No good.
So, Eric, this is the final episode, I guess. Please tell me the answer.
No.
We left off after taking over and burning down the fortress of floating.
Yes.
Showers. Yeah. And recruiting our final star of destiny, Sonya Shullen. But I'm sure before we initiate our final march towards Gregminster, we have some housekeeping to do, right?
Yeah, I want to start taking a bath, Chris.
Yeah, let's take a bath.
We've talked about the tropical bath before and about how airy and humid it gets in there.
Yeah.
But I did look up a list of special sequences that can happen in the bath. This comes courtesy the gaming mole Brad Rye on YouTube, who has video footage of all of these sequences in one nice little video.
Oh, so there are specific scenes.
Yes, there's multiple. There's, I think, a half dozen here.
Are
maybe?
they character specific?
I will let you know as I read them off to you, Chris.
Okay, I can't wait to listen to this podcast.
First one, if you stay in the bath too long, the party will start to overheat and turn red.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that now. Yeah.
I think we've talked about this one, but Milich, despite identifying as or being presented as male, will go to the female side of the bathhouse.
Yes.
It's unknown if that is a sign or if because he is a prevert.
It depends on how you read them.
Fusu Lu will wrap his tiger fur in a knot to avoid it getting wet.
Yes. Yes.
Did you know that?
I noticed that. Yeah, I forgot to point it out.
Fuma will hide himself underwater and use a bamboo stalk as a snorkel.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never taken a bath with a ninja before.
Me neither.
Oh, I did take one with Kasumi.
Kasumi Ninja.
Yeah, Kasumi Ninja. Yeah,
Right.
she has something tied around her head too, I think. Do you have that?
No.
Oh, she's
I
like
don't
her.
think so.
I think she's tied her scarf on her head or something.
Placing urns around the bathhouse will cause flowers to grow out of them.
Cool.
Placing Persian lamps around the bathhouse will make genies appear.
Like Robin Williams genies?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. Or the Witcher genies.
I think that's a djinn in The Witcher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Placing all hex dolls will change the scenery and music to a creepy scene.
Game genies.
Using graffiti as paintings along with hex dolls will cause the paintings to cry blood.
What?
Blood begins to drip from the walls, and your party members will turn blue from being cold or being scared to death.
Wow.
Chris, this is paying homage to Vampire Killer, the Castlevania arcade game released by Konami in 1986, where the track Bloody Tears was first heard.
Oh, really? I did not know that. I thought Bloody Tears was a Simon's Quest original.
No. And finally, my very favorite one. Placing the peeing boy statue in a certain spot will cause it to pee-pee on the unlucky party member next to it.
Great. I love peeing on party members.
This game's got water sports.
It's great.
It's awesome.
It's wonderful. Awesome.
I love piss.
Yeah. What a great bit of flair.
So we're back at the fuck house.
We are.
I spend this time spending 2.5 hours getting characters whom we may see again up to level 52.
Wow. That seems like it was worth it, I guess.
I spend all of this coin to sharpen their weapons because I'm told that's important too.
Sure. I mean,
Listener, if you're going to do that, I recommend. I actually don't know if it pays off. I have no idea. I just know that some characters carry over. And because of spoilers, we're not going to mention those here, but the knowledge now is in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So Glorious Island Fortress plays. Did you speak to Sanchez when you were here?
Yeah, he says that Matthew has told him to pretend everything is normal.
Yeah, play it cool.
Yes.
Because it could demoralize the troops if they find out.
I mean, is Sanchez popular amongst the troops?
I don't understand why they don't just get a new guy.
People see Sanchez a lot. If he's missing, people will notice, I
I don't
guess.
see him a lot. He's in a room by himself on the 4th floor.
Well, he's out.
Doesn't even show up to meetings.
That's true.
I go talk to Matthew on that 4th floor as Theme of an Advancing Army plays.
Yes, let's advance.
Matthew says Commander Tyr Shahar has fallen, and the way to the capital is clear. Now is the time to gather our forces and attack Gregminster. Shit, Chris, Gregminster.
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 We're going back.
We're going back.
We're going back.
I love when games go back to where they started.
Hell yeah.
As
The start of all of this.
Yes, you go back to the start of all this to finish this. Actually, Chrono Cross kind of did that a little bit.
Kind of in the middle. It started at Fort Dragonia, right?
I don't want to spoil Chrono Cross in case people haven't listened to it yet. But
Gotcha. Listen to season 2. Leocan chimes in and says, "Let me tell you something. As a doctor, I won't let Matthew go to battle." And he is an actual doctor, right? I thought he was more of a chemist.
Yeah, we recruited him as a drug maker,
Okay.
not as a healer of men. But I mean, he healed the dragon, so I guess he can heal medical. What is he called? Medical officer?
A medical officer.
Surgeon general.
I wanted Matthew
Don't
to lean
smoke.
over and go, "Hey, Dr. Bitch, I'll decide when I'm going to go to the battle." Matthew, also a doctor, sometimes contests this and says, "But I must. I have my responsibilities. I swore to my sister, Odessa." He didn't really swear to his sister. She was dead when he swore this, right?
I think
To her memory?
he made an oath.
Okay.
The oath plays.
We get a choice. Let's wait and see what happens. Let's march to the capital. The oath stops playing. Just kidding. The oath continues.
Yeah,
Neither of these provide resolution, Chris, but I say let's march.
let's do it.
Like, neither one of them are like, "Yo, Matthew, take a time out."
Matthew thanks me and tells me that 20,000 troops remain in the capital.
We got that, right?
They will be desperate and dangerous. Yeah, we have ninjas. We have 3 ninjas, Eric. And thieves if we need to, flip a coin.
And Kryn if we have to nail someone to a cross.
Also true. He says, please assemble all the Liberation Army troops. We must raise their morale. And
We're going to go pep rally.
how do you raise morale?
Pep rally. Cheerleaders.
Yeah,
Sick dunks.
get in a duel.
That's right.
So the scene fades out, then fades back in, and a bunch of mandatory motherfuckers are in the war room.
I just wrote regular motherfuckers, but mandatory motherfuckers is a
Yeah,
much better
yeah.
way of phrasing it.
Yeah, these are just the main story people that you cannot miss.
The real ones.
Yes,
The
Flick,
all-stars.
Flick then tells the medical officer that all the troops are assembled, so thanks, Flick. Matthew then begins.
Warriors of the Liberation Army, the time has come, the end is near for the cruel Imperial regime.
I don't think that's what Matthew sounds like.
I bet he's got some gruff to him. Some remorseful gruff.
Yeah, I've only ever thought about his voice when he's screaming, "See the power of the science," so I haven't really thought
It's
this
similar
out
to
yet.
that. You can
Okay.
it's the same voice, I
Okay,
think.
we'll work with it.
LaPont gets in on this action and says, "Remember me? He didn't say that. He says, think of your friends, think of your families, and fight for them.
Power of friendship.
I think we're being propagandized here, Chris.
A little bit.
Warren, who I already forgot was real, says, the ground quakes with the anger of the people. Their cries echo in the heavens. Now is the time for this to end.
If their cries echo in the heavens, perhaps one could say the tears of the stars reflect the hearts of the people. Ha ha ha. I did a Xenogears joke.
Now, how does Warren have any cachet here? Like,
He's rich.
Okay. Okay, I'll stop talking about it now.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I do like Warren's character design. I wish he would have been more incorporated in the game. I just think he looks cool.
He's named Warren.
Yeah, well, there's some okay Warrens out there, as we discussed.
Yes, some okay Warrens.
Mm-hmm.
Touching theme plays and who buzzes in.
It's Leknaat. She's here. She says now is the time for her to tell Tyr everything.
I'm like, oh yes, oh fuck yes. Like rubbing my hands together. Please tell me the answers.
Yes, we found the Raziel's tree. Or the fucking Chronopolis. Or
the key of Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes. I like how that's become a term in our podcast.
It can mean anything.
Yeah, it's like an item. My sister Wendy is looking for vengeance against the entire world. Hundreds of years ago, my ancestors, Clan of the Gate, were powerful people. But because of their power, they were massacred.
Not very powerful if you ask me, Chris.
Yeah, it's true. Wendy and I managed to escape using the power of the rune of the gate. The rune of the gate is in fact two runes, the front and back runes.
Front and back are in quotations.
Yep. Also called the entrance and exit runes.
I'm burying my face in my hands like, come on, man. Do you need to call these runes you just made up two separate words that mean the exact same thing?
It's a little rough out there for Leknaat right now as she's explaining things, but I think the war that we are partaking in right now is referred to in Suikoden like stuff, like the Kiwami or any supplementary materials as the Gate Rune Wars, and now we can fully understand that because
but only two people know about these. Well, I guess everybody in the room knows about it.
Right, but the two primary movers of either sides are Leknaat on one side and Wendy on the other side. So this war is taking place because of Wendy's kind of thirst to gain the half of the rune. So Leknaat has the back, Wendy has the front. Cleo then says,
their powers are connected.
Yes, of course. Cleo says then it is Wendy who tried to kill you.
Speaking to Leknaat?
I guess. I wasn't really sure. Or maybe was she talking to Tyr? It's hard to say.
I mean, Wendy's always been kind of trying to kill us.
Yeah, it's true. Leknaat explains that Wendy tried to take the full rune to increase her power. That is why I isolated myself on Magician's Island, setting up defenses and biding my time, awaiting the appearance of someone like you, Tyr.
Special boy of destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, everyone, the 108 stars of destiny have come together here. You are all travelers, stars that wander freely across the skies. And you have all assembled into this single spot. Together, you will be victorious.
We should note
teamwork.
It is teamwork.
We're team.
Teamwork. We should note that this will not happen if you do not have 108 stars of destiny.
Oh, does this part just get skipped?
Yeah.
Skip. Victor says, bullshit, asshole. Hey, wait a minute there, sis. You said there were 108 stars here, but you're mistaken. We're missing one.
Yes.
Then Pawn fires off some dots because he's here too.
It'd be funny if Victor said, we're missing 17.
Yeah. If you just like whatever number. So does Cleo, and then Gremio.
Yes. We remember Gremio. Remember him? He was killed by another guy who's also standing in here.
I forgot about that. Leknaat goes on, Tyr, I shall show you the power of my rune gate. Soldiers of the Liberation Army, quiet your minds and remember your friend.
Use the power of friendship.
The screen then goes black. Then it says, open gates of dimension, unite the 108 stars to bring us. It then fades back in.
Wait, stop. I need you to stop. I need you to turn on your Sega Saturn. Do you have some noises for me?
Yes, the Japanese Saturn, because it's the Japanese version.
Okay.
We'll power that on.
So in the Saturn version, something different happens right here. Or not different, additional happens here. So after that line, we get a scene change. And the scene, let's picture Gremio walking through like a purgatorial thing. We're an anti, where the music does not play. It's Gremio. He's running around. He's saying, where is this? I get the feeling that I came here once with young master. Why am I here? Then the young master runs by. Gremio notices him and says, where are you going? Wait for me. By the way, this translation is courtesy of suikosource.com. Thank you. Then the scene changes to Seika, where Eternal Flow doesn't play, but Gremio says, huh? Isn't this Seika? When did I remember now. When we came here, young master had trouble convincing Matthew. Anyway, I should look for young master. Then you are in control of Gremio.
Play as Gremio.
So you get to play as both Tyr, Futch, and Gremio in the Saturn version. And you walk up to that little lake in the northwestern part of Seika, and Tyr is there. Gremio says, I've been looking for you, young master. And then Tyr runs away. Young master, it's Gremio. Don't you remember me? The scene changes. This says Rebel Hideout. I think it's the sewer hideout.
Okay, the original.
Yeah, because Gremio says, this place, this is where Lady Odessa died. I wonder what kind of person young master would have become if we hadn't happened to meet her back then. Then the scene changes to Gregminster. Gremio says, this is a dear city, a dear home with Cleo, Pawn, young master, and Master Teo. I wonder if we can ever go back to that time again. Scene changes, and now we're in McDowell's house, in the kitchen, where Gremio, he's right at home. Gremio says, don't go anywhere now. It'll be ready soon. We can start setting the table soon. Scene then changes. We're in the dining room. Gremio says, young master, Ted, dinner is ready. Teo says, everyone, your attention please. Tomorrow morning I must travel north. And this is just...
So Gremio's going backwards through time.
Yeah,
until Gremio becomes a baby and then just refuses to exist.
No.
That's the purgatory here, is you just live your life in reverse, but forwards.
That would... Yeah, you just bounce back and forth like fucking ping pong.
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
It's like, this is just my dreams.
This is actually just a repeat of the same scene that we had when we had dinner with Teo before he left.
Okay.
So I'm not going to read the whole thing again.
Episode 2.
Yeah. And then it fades to black, and now we're back to the PlayStation version.
Okay. Then it fades back in, and Mom Gremio is back. Gremio speaks, oh, I don't want to die here. There's so much more I must do for young master. And I read this as the Parasite Eve post-death logic, where when it brought Aya's sister back in the special Chrysler building ending, how she was like left off her memories from like right before she died.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought was happening here. But your thing recontextualizes it to where Gremio is just like lost in purgatory and confused for an indefinite period of time.
It might not have been purgatory because like he wasn't coming back from there if not for collecting 107 fuckers and having this moment.
Well, he wasn't. Then Gremio wasn't. That's not the afterlife either. So what? I mean.
Oh yeah. Maybe he's just like stuck in a loop. Yeah.
Not in like purgatory as purgatory, but in some kind of in between state.
Gotcha.
Gremio continues. There's still some laundry left to do and a new stew. Huh? What the? And I immediately would be like, no. I've hired Sarah to do the laundry. Gremio.
Yeah.
Cleo and Pawn can't believe this shit. Gremio then says everyone's name. Leknaat continues, such is the combined power of the rune of the gate and the 108 stars. But what you have just witnessed here is only possible once.
I will not do this in any sequels, sorry.
Once ever. I thought it meant like, we can't bring your dad back here.
Well, yeah, that's probably the way it's to be read.
We just blew our once on Gremio.
Yeah, I mean...
We blew the once on Gremio. I understand that Gremio's name was in the Tablet of Destiny, or whatever that thing was. However, this is not a tactical decision.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would want to bring back Teo, actually.
Yeah.
If you had to bring back somebody.
Yeah. I mean, if you need military might to win this shit, I'm pretty sure you need Teo, even though you've massacred his troops.
Yeah.
Gremio, after all this, well, as far as I can tell, the only dialogue Gremio has after this is when you meet Gremio outside your room.
Yeah, he's mostly just speechless. Yeah.
All he will say is, young master, what happened, and I hope we never tell him. Just leave him lost and confused.
Perhaps a sign that this is a kind of a optional scene, a scene that won't pop unless you have met the prereqs, is that Matthew just
glazes over. Yeah,
let's go.
Pawn and Cleo like briefly acknowledge the miracle of not raising the dead. Okay, well then Matthew continues. The end of our worthy empire is near. We have lost many lives. For our departed friends and for the future, we must battle on. We must bring an end to this conflict under the banner of the Liberation Army, under our leader, Commander Tyr. Then we get one choice.
Yes, finally.
What is it?
Victory!
Music Into a World Illusion plays, or some weird version of it?
So I got confused by this too. I think it is the back half of the intro song.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
it starts at where it gets into the kind of the main theme.
Victor screams victory, and that's what his name means too.
Yeah.
And then so does Flick, and Humphrey, and Taiho. Then no one else. Then it fades to black. It comes back up and we're outside. Varkas is commanding 7 guys. He says, y'all better fight hard tomorrow. He says, y'all, Chris. And we can say that because we're from Kentucky.
Yes.
Right, Sidonia, who then Hez. And then we go through some more people prepping for battle, like being rallied.
Yeah, Gen's here telling dudes to fix what you can fix. This is our last chance.
Kuromimi commands a legion of kobolds. I show kobold power. You all follow Kuromimi. Aru. And then they all hop and do jump twists.
Yep.
Then Tyr is alone with Matthew and we have control. There's no music. I walk up and tell Matthew that I'm ready. And he says, Commander Tyr, this will be our final battle. Your orders. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Battlefield, music, gate plays. Who's out here with a bunch of soldiers?
Well, we're in like a forest area. There are there's some Imperial soldiers, some orcs,
Some dudes I've never really seen before.
yeah, some chimeras, some mirages, those things that we met in the field that kind of look like Peshmerga. Some armored giant-looking things, which I think we'll discover later are called Colossuses, and fucking Kanan and fucking Uber are out here.
Yeah, he says, Sir Uber, the Liberation Army is here. And Uber, who Chris has emphasized as an enigmatic badass, says, Liberation Army. Heh. And then he has like 5,000 times.
Yeah.
Then laughs like a maniac.
He's a villain.
And he says, against our 100,000 troops?
100,000?
100,000. You
Wow.
can hardly call them an army. And then cuts back to us, dude. Kirkus approaches and says, Master Tyr, we've spotted the enemy. And then he stutters and says that they number 100,000 US dollars.
Matthew, for once, cannot believe this shit.
They stymied Matthew.
Leknaat is also here, just being with us.
Hanging out.
I guess.
It's endgame, Chris.
Yeah, most of these must be monsters her sister conjured up. Leknaat says she will return the monsters from whence they came. She then attempts to return some of these monsters to the nether worlds.
Maybe that's where Gremio was.
Yeah, perhaps.
And then cuts to a monster battlefield full of weirdos, then blinks the weirdest ones out of existence.
Yeah, but they're not all gone.
No. This alarms Kanan, though, who informs Uber that the monsters are evaporating. Uber concludes this must be the work of Wendy's sister and says, don't worry, she will never be able to defeat Lady Wendy's sorcery.
Yep, then it cuts back to our line, our battle line. Leknaat says, it's no good.
She can't do it.
I don't have enough power to defeat my sister.
No.
No.
I, Tyr, suggest the Soul Eater as a potential solution to this problem. I don't think we should use it, Eric. Leknaat says that I must never use this rune. That would be good advice if I had not been eating motherfucking souls for the past 6 months.
I ate my dad.
Yeah. Joshua then comes in from the rafters. Joshua, hey Joshua, what's up? The leader of the Dragon Knights. He says, inheritor of the rune of the gate, I will lend you power. He then walks on screen and goes to the front of the line and he says, oh Dragon Rune, lend your inhuman power, the power that tears
The sky apart.
the sky apart.
This guy apart.
I left the word out. To this person?
Yes, then it fades to black.
Yeah.
Comes back up on the opposite side of the battlefield, and I was typing, but I think more guys just blinked out of existence.
Yeah, they
Kanan
do.
is further alarmed, and Uber says, don't be afraid, even without Monstars, we're still at an advantage. Forward, march, and then the fodder dudes all run off.
Do you think Wendy put Uber in charge like just now because she's lost all 5 generals, or he's been back here doing shit for a while?
I think he was deployed as shit's getting real option, and she's losing faith, perhaps, in Barbarossa.
Ponderosa.
That's right. It's out of business. The last battle.
Yes, Clash plays.
20,000 troops versus 18,710.
We can take them. Don't worry.
So Leknaat and the Dragonman used magic to eliminate 80,000 beings.
80,000?
They said 100,000 troops earlier.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
And now it's
yeah.
20,000.
Yeah, my math was not working. Yes, that's correct. So I don't know what the point of all that was. Like,
To showcase power, to showcase all of our friends coming together and using magic to advance our will.
okay.
Because they respect here.
Feels like it was a little bit of a fast forward button.
Yeah, kind
To me, a
of.
little
Wrap
bit.
this shit up. Let's get
Yeah.
it wrapped up. Uber says, you scum, how dare you defy me? I'll kill you all. And from Uber, I believe it. Because
Yeah.
he's a murderer, Chris.
Yeah, he's...
Unlike me, who's not killed scores of monsters, bad guys, and literally everyone who stood in my way.
Yeah.
Uber, let's see. Fuck that. I win 16,683 to 0.
Hold on, you missed some shit.
Okay.
Somebody replies to Uber,
Oh, yeah?
and these scroll pretty quickly, so you may have been taking notes and missed
Yeah,
it.
and they're auto scrolling.
'Cause
Usually
you-
I go back and.
Yeah, usually somebody will pop up and give a retort, and usually it's like Matthew LaPont. Somebody
So was
that
it this time? Was it Kryn?
is Kuramimi.
Okay,
He
good.
says, no way, wolf.
Intimidating.
That's it. That's
it.
just
That's
what
all.
it is.
Okay.
I use the power of the science for the Maximilian Knights, and they own Uber's forces quite a bit. Yeah, it's incredibly easy to win this thing if you've recruited all the ninjas.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you can really game this system pretty easily if you've done your recruiting homework.
Then Gate plays.
Uber says, damn, this is the end.
Damn. Tisk, this is it. The end of this country. Ah, well, I won't miss it much. And he runs off.
So he's just here. At this point, Uber hints that this is just this country and not the world.
Right.
Because if you're not really if you don't have the foresight of playing more Suikoden games after this, as far as you know, as far as I would have known, this is the world.
Yeah, it's true. There's no way that Murayama knew. This was his first game as a director. That he knew that he was going to get a sequel, but he did plant all these little seeds that he could latch onto later on, including Uber and many of the other things we've seen, like just referencing the external politics or the geopolitics from it, like
gives you
referencing jousting.
A thread to pull later on if necessary.
Yeah.
Main theme arranged guitar version plays. And then the dwarf chief shows up.
Yeah, I called these people the non-star motherfuckers.
Yeah, and showing up after it would have mattered.
Yeah, would have been nice.
He says, ha ha ha, Commander Tyr, I was just in time. And I'm like, no, you weren't. This is after.
Yeah, I mean, did you use that big old cannon? What was it called? The high wind cannon? No. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I have no idea what it was called.
Yeah. Do you want to ask the fake net or just let it go?
Ask the fake net. It's important to have knowledge.
Okay.
Initializing fake net.
It was the fire wind cannon, a cannon capable of firing at great speeds that was used to break the burning mirror.
Hanzo is also here. Have we met Hanzo before?
We've heard him referenced from Kasumi. I think Kasumi had been assuming that he and her clan were wiped out, but he's here.
He's the leader of the ninjas of Rokaku, and he says we hid out in the fields until the moment arrived.
They've been shitting in the woods.
They're cowards.
Yes.
Kasumi Ninja is very pleased that Chief Hanzo survived, and Hanzo replies, yes, but we had to keep it a secret. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Kasumi replies with, oh no, and I'm like, what are we oh knowing here? What are we keeping, like, what?
That's the end of the ninja arc.
Okay, done.
That's it.
Great.
We've got this portrait. Let's use it real quick.
Next, Zyrtec, whatever that guy's name was, speaks.
It's all right.
Zyrtec says, you have come far, Commander Tyr. We of the Warriors Village have come to give you a hand. It has been a wonderful war. Chris, what war is wonderful? Did you not read All Quiet on the Western Front? War is not glorious.
No, it's not. I think maybe the modern incarnation of Warriors Village has not actually been in a war before.
They just do training all the time, and we had to help them kill their only fucking antagonist?
Yes.
Fucking solve the vampire problem for them?
They have romantic dreams, but they don't understand reality.
Damn, that's profound, Chris.
Let's go.
Continues, it's been such a long time since we enjoyed such a big one. Our father, Cliff the Crusader, who art in heaven. And then Victor cuts him off and says...
That's exactly what I wrote. Really? Yes. I wrote, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
That's the Catholicism coming out. Whenever someone says our father, we just get triggered to finish the rest of the goddamn thing. Fuck me. Sorry. Victor cuts him off and says, hey, Tyr, we don't have time to hear this old man stories. Let's charge into Gregminster.
Mm-hmm.
Victor says it exactly like that, too.
Yeah.
We're in Gregminster. Music, windy Gregminster that I captured, but also might actually be on the soundtrack plays.
Echoes of the Changing World.
Is that what that song's called?
Yeah.
Okay. I was upset when I spent 4 minutes capturing a loop, then found it in the soundtrack later.
Yeah. I like how they did this here, where they are using because the song sounds like the Gregminster, but it sounds like
the place is fucked.
They gave, like all the, what do you call flute players? Flute players?
Wind instrumentalists.
Yes.
Initializing fake net.
Flute players are called flutists.
They're all like really high, and they're like starting, like they're
noodling around.
They're a little off, and everything's a little slow when there's wind. It's great.
Victor says, here we are, Tyr, back in Gregminster, and under a very different circumstance from the time we escaped. Now all we have to do is take the Emperor Barbarossa's head. Yes, Chris, more head.
I love taking head.
That's... we don't really have enough blowjob jokes on the podcast. It's good that you're... Yeah, okay.
What I was trying to communicate was I like the expression of taking someone's head as...
Yes, right. As opposed to giving. I understand. I understand perfectly.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody in this world is obsessed with decapitation. Everyone here wants to be the nurse from Xenogears obsessed with blood and viscera.
Yes.
But Flick speaks and says, Tyr, I mean Commander, take me with you. I want to avenge Odessa's death with my own hands.
I wish you would have said mine own hands.
We can now make what I assume is our final party. Who'd you take?
Oh, by the way, I headcanoned my response to Flick about getting revenge for Odessa. I said, go fucking kill Sanchez then.
Yeah,
it's his fucking fault.
Flick was primed to do like a villain move, but I guess had to become the hero and show restraint because heroes always show restraint in moments of strife.
Barbarossa probably had nothing to do with that attack.
Right?
Anyway.
Hopefully Sanchez gets his due justice in Suikoden 2, PlayStation, Sony, Konami. Who'd you take?
Ruby, who I've grown to love in this podcast. Clive, another badass. And of course, Peshmerga.
I took Luck, Luke, Tengar, and Kai.
Really?
Along with Flick and Victor.
That sounds like a shitty party, Eric.
Well, I had to take them, Chris, because I have to prove that luck is not necessary.
Okay. Got it.
Thank you.
Sure.
Matthew leaves with us and says, please watch yourself, Commander Tyr. Although the Imperial army is defeated, the Emperor himself is a very powerful man. And then he coughs twice. Uh-oh. Matthew's coughing.
Yeah, that's not good.
He's got some blood in his lungs from being oiled. Leocan butts in to say, Master Matthew, don't turn yourself any further. You shouldn't be outside.
Yeah, you need to go in. Yeah, you need to lay down.
They're laying this Matthew is fucked up stuff on pretty hard, Chris.
They are. They want to remind you that Matthew is indeed fucked up.
Matthew asked Tyr to fulfill Odessa's dream. Then we all leave. And that does a decent job of conveying the kind of dire circumstance here,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, do you know how I handled this dire circumstance?
What'd you do?
I left.
Me too. Where'd you go?
I went to Rockland.
I also did.
What'd you do in Rockland?
See if the house was burned down?
Is it?
No.
No, it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there.
I took Clive.
Rockland place.
Yes, indeed. I took Clive to the graveyard.
Oh, yes. Yes, cash this in.
Which I said I was going to do during the Clive character profile, but I didn't. So sorry about that. If you take him to the grave of the homeless woman, which says, Clive, forgive me for not dying at your hands, he parties out and says, it's a trick. You're trying to deceive me again, woman.
I go to graveyards and say that all the time.
Yeah. I swore I would find you, and I'll never give up until I do, so I can kill you with my own hands.
So a lady faked her death to deceive Clyde?
Yes.
And collecting taxes or whatever it is that Clive does?
It's much more than that. And
so we actually developed this in Suikoden 2.
Yes, there is a Clive side quest in Suikoden 2 which requires you to kind of speed run the game. And get to certain events. And also, I believe this subplot is also woven into the Suikoden games, which we will be covering on patreon.com/retroym.
Excellent.
At some point.
Well, Chris, did you go anywhere else?
I did notice, though, that as I was out on the world map, there are new monsters out here.
Yeah, let's talk about them. What'd you run into?
Some ninja masters.
It's a red ninja.
Some smurgs.
Blue flying birds.
Smurgs.
It's funny, those are the first ones I fought since I got into battle, and I forgot that Luck had died like an hour ago.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was still dead.
I still had characters dead from the Sonya Shulin thing.
It's really funny.
Did you put him in the back row finally?
No.
Why?
So, I mean, what do you... No, yeah, he was in the back row, so he can't attack, but I don't use his magic. He just stands there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever use medicines or anything?
No.
Sacrificial Buddhas?
No.
Actually, you
I
don't.
bought some, but I didn't have to use them.
Yeah. Well, you actually...
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
I also fought some orcs.
Orcs.
Are these unique sprites at the end of the game? It's green guys in the Legion of Doom gear.
Yeah, they look very similar to the way they looked out in the Uber battle line.
Yeah.
They're the same monster. So it feels like they did have maybe larger plans for this group of beings, but alas.
Well, Chris, I went to Mount Tiger Wolf because I had to check up on what's his name?
Not LaPont. Ladon.
Ledon.
Said that they came and like burned down his shit.
Yeah, that asshole.
And I went up there to see if it was still there.
Yeah.
It's still fucking there.
He's a liar.
Still a pot of stew on the stove.
He's lucky he's a Star of Destiny.
I couldn't believe it. There's a fire still in the fireplace. Okay, let's go get this game done.
Let's do this game.
Let's go to Gregminster. Chris, what's that music called? Hallowed Halls of the Walls?
Echoes of the Changing World.
That's right.
Things are rough out here in Gregminster.
It's fine. It's brown.
It's brown.
It's brown.
It's cloudy, but the armor vendor's got new shit.
The fountain is... Oh, yeah. What'd you get at the armor vendor?
I got new silver hats.
Yes, I bought everybody a nice silver hat.
I got some earth shields because both Pesmeriga and Flick can use shields. I think that was about it, right?
I think I got a robe of some sort for Luke.
He likes robes.
Yeah, he enjoys those. The fountain is dry and empty in the middle of Gregminster. I noticed that.
Good point.
The inn is locked. Milich's secret closet is locked. My own house is locked. I then decide the only way out is through, and I head north to the palace.
Yep.
On the wooden bridge over the water awaits who?
It's Ain Gide, that one guy.
The idiot we duped back at the gate near the beginning of the game. It was a mystery if we duped him or if he wink, wink, nudge, nudged us through, right?
Yeah. He asked Tyr how he's been. Victor remembers this feller as the guy who led us through when we snuck through the fortress of Kawaba.
Way to say that out loud, dummy.
Yeah. Ain says yes, and I believe your name was Schlottenheim Reinbach III.
Damn, he knew all along. Victor cuts the shit and says, what do you want? Let us pass. Guide replies that he can't. He's an Imperial general. Victor hits Guide with the Imperial army is virtually finished. Please let us through. I owe you one and would hate to harm you.
He's lying. Victor loves harming people.
Yes, he enjoys killing and murder. Guide counters, even if the Imperial army is defeated, I cannot betray Emperor Barbarossa. If I, Ain Gide, betray him, who will he have left? Master Tyr, if you insist on going any farther, you will have to do so over my dead fucking body.
Damn. Then we have to fight this dude. He's a mini-boss or something.
Ultimate enemy plays. We're fighting Guide on that bridge. Chris.
Yeah?
I attached my runes to people and I killed him in 2 turns.
Oh, congratulations on using runes. What did you use for Luke?
Oh, I didn't use them on him deliberately, but everybody else has.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I wanted to prove that he's unnecessary, that I can win with 5.
Canonically, you should put a Cyclone rune on him because he likes wind magic.
I think I gave that to Tengar.
Oh, okay. Did you tap into the harmonious cycles of the Time Cube rune?
Did I send him to hell? Is that what you're asking me?
No, you can use if you use a level 4 spell on a upgraded rune like a Rage, Thunder, Cyclone, upper tier runes that give you access to the strongest spell from that. If you use 2 of them at the same time, and they are the harmonious ones that were mentioned in the old book, it will do a combo attack.
Oh.
So I did the Thunder and Thunder rune and Flowing rune combo attack with Flick. I'd given Flick the Thunder rune, and Ruby has the Flowing rune because Ruby is now going to be my healer. And it does the combination of the final spell for Thunder, Godfall, God Punch,
Goddamn, yeah.
Goddamn,
Yep.
and the Mother Ocean. So it creates the Mother Ocean barrier around the characters, and then like electrocutes it. It's pretty cool.
Well, I love my Mother Barrier Ocean plenty already.
It's a PlayStation effect. Early PlayStation effect.
Special effect, transparency, rotation.
Yeah, lots is going on here. But otherwise, I just beat his ass.
After the battle, there is no music. Gide is kneeling on the ground and steadying himself with his sword, and he speaks. He says, Emperor Barbarossa, I shall go ahead. Gide then collapses. So the I shall go ahead, Chris, does that mean he knew they were all doomed and he wanted to precede Barbarossa in death?
He hustles till the buzzer, till the bell sounds.
I was going to say, if I know my side's losing, I'm not dying for these fuckers. I will switch sides immediately.
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple of characters that were like that on our team. Like
yeah, it only makes sense.
Griffith was like that. And
like, as far as we know, nobody here believes in an afterlife, so I want to prolong my only life. Flick senses something is up and says, no, this is wrong, and that's pretty creepy. Victor then corrects Flick and says, yes, he was wrong, but just as some things can be right and useless at the same time, can't something be wrong and priceless? What does that mean?
What are you? I had to look at my notes and then look back at the screen to make sure that I
that doesn't make any sense.
No, it's way off.
Flick, no, this is wrong seems very ominous. Like that shit shouldn't have happened. We were on the wrong course of destiny now. And Victor like corrects it with a bad localization. Got to be a bad localization.
I have written my own dialogue for Victor here that would be better.
Yeah, what does he say?
So Flick says this is wrong, and Victor says, if this is wrong, then why do I feel so good when my enemies collapse at my feet?
Hell yeah. That's actually what that was the proper local. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
We party up and
localization is an art form. You can't just do direct translations. You got
you have to cater it to the
change the
culture.
Story. Change the story. Censor.
That's right.
Take out the vagina bones.
That's right. Siren cannot showcase blonde pubic hair.
Mm-hmm.
We party up and Tyr auto walks forward to the next section, but then I walk back to see Guide's body and walk all over it myself, but it's gone. Did he get up and leave? Was he faking? The body's gone. The rest of his soldiers are dead. Where's the body? Show me the body. Show me the body. I want to see the body.
During the screen transition, Tyr sent him to hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just absorbed him with the Soul Eater. Just give me one more snack. Numbers.
Yeah.
Now we're in the palace. Music. Hell, Blowing Wind. Viper Manor plays. What's it called?
I have to keep scrolling. Echoes of the Changing World.
Okay. So I go outside first to see if all the horsies are still in the stables.
They are.
They are. They're still eating too. So someone's been maintaining the cavalry.
Yep.
What kind of battles did you get in here?
Well, I love battles, so I wrote them all down. There are Phantoms.
It's armored demons.
Yes, Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms.
Yo.
The Colossus.
Big dude. Permanently taking a knee, so big.
Yes, we saw these guys in Uber's army as well. Echidna?
Trogdor the Burninator.
Yeah.
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 I have no memory of those.
Even now or from before?
No, right now. Like, what do they look like?
Trogdor the Burninator.
They really look like Trogdor.
Yes.
Oh.
They look like what my memory of Trogdor is, having not experienced Trogdor firsthand in probably 16 years.
Yeah, also the last type of battle, by the way, is these scripted Imperial soldier attacks.
They also function randomly, too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get windspun armor from a chest, and per the guide, I return to base and put it on Humphrey for future use.
The what? The windspun armor?
Yeah.
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 You can carry it forward.
I knew about the windspun armor, but I couldn't find it. I must have missed it.
He was up and to the right as soon as you walk in.
Oh, well. So anyway, I think we talked about this a little bit before the last dungeon, but it's worth restating. I like when games get to the point, right, at the end of the game.
Right.
This is not a Merkava situation.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of them. You go through the castle, and they throw Imperial guards at you scripted like, 12, 15 times?
Yeah, but it's at this point, we're just demonstrating our power. We're not really having to map this place out. And
yeah, it is pretty linear.
Yeah, it's very linear. We're doing battles, taking out soldiers, showing our power, and kind of like marching towards victory. And this game, we talked about it before, but this game doesn't really have much of a desire to show off any kind of complex level design or even interesting level design. It's
I don't think they had time or experience to even do that.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I don't have any issue with that. And there's also like this game, we're also not working towards a destination. Like there's no like climatic place that we've been working towards for the entire game. So having the final dungeon just be in a castle that we've already been in, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I think it's really effective.
Economical too. Eventually, I walk the longest red carpet in existence. Oh, before that, there's a save point to the left, and that is the final save point of the game that your data can carry over to.
Yes.
I walk the longest red carpet in existence and make it to the roof Futch landed on.
Yes, the Imperial Garden.
Roof wind noises play.
It's windy out here, but lowercase windy.
Yes. I make it to the very top. The haze of dusk is present and the sky is orange. Barbarossa awaits by himself at the spot where Futch landed. He speaks. It's here, Commander of the Liberation Army. Thank you for coming this far. Your princess is in an... No, it's a joke. No. He opens his arms and says, look at this garden. My beautiful place of flowers and... My beautiful... Is he place or palace? My beautiful place of flowers in full bloom? Surely he says palace, right?
I have place also.
God damn. This is the end. It is all that remains of my empire. Tyr, I shall protect my empire with my own hands.
Mine own hands. Did you notice when he was talking, he put his hands out in the preaching pose, but like halfway through it, he put his hands back under his cape. Like they pulled a lot of stops out here.
Gesticulating.
A lot of really good sprite work here. It's really expressive.
Barbarossa draws his sword and flashes lightning. He holds it up over his head and says,
Dragon King sword, give me power.
Fade to white.
I have a trivia question for you, Eric.
Yes.
We didn't do any quizzes this season, so I have one here. At the beginning of the game, Barbarossa gave a sword to Teo McDowell to show his appreciation for whatever. It was his previous beloved sword. He has a new one, the Dragon King sword, as we know, and we'll talk about later. But what was that sword called that he gave Teo? Do you remember?
No idea. However, I'm going to find that episode and see if I said it out loud and splice it in right here. That sword was...
Unprompted, Barbarossa invokes the name of his beloved sword, Proc.
That sounds like a Klingon word.
Yeah, I know.
P-R-A-K-K?
And P-R-A-K-K, yeah. Great job or bad job,
Thank
I don't
you.
know. It was called Proc.
Proc?
Proc.
Proc.
P-R-A-A-K.
Was that a Klingon word? What are we...
I don't fucking know, dude. Anyway, just...
Eric's brain is made of dog shit.
He said the name before?
Yeah, he said, my beloved sword Proc.
God damn, okay.
So it's funny that like he gave them his beloved sword as this like token of his appreciation for being in his
but
service.
I'm sure kings
but he also now has the Dragon King sword, so he didn't need it anymore.
No, I mean, I'm sure kings give people, oh, here, this is my special token, and they have like a whole fucking Chuck E. Cheese chest full of these things.
Yeah, and the reason that he kept the Dragon King sword is because it did this.
Yeah. The ultimate enemy plays, and we're on a fucking iridescent goddamn pentagram in outer space.
I think it's a 6-pointed star here.
Yeah, pentagram's 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
There are also various rune symbols in this
Yes.
in this kind of thing. Like
Each side appears to have runic symbols.
Yes.
Barbarossa morphs into a golden Hydra,
It looks cool as shit, dude.
which seems to be stepping out of turn and extending its head towards me and roaring as I type this.
It kind of scared me the first.
Yeah, it's like it's attacking you in real time.
Yeah.
It looks like it's attacking you. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
All my guy does is a group lightning attack and then a polygon attack where he lifts a person up and encases them in brown hard dirt.
Hard dirt.
Yes.
Hard dirtman.
I really don't have much to say about this fight other than that I attacked heads one at a time.
Yeah,
with my attacks that weren't group attacks.
Each head is immune to a certain type of magic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which didn't really matter for me because the only offensive magic that I really used a ton of was the Soul Eater stuff, and it's not immune to any of those. And I think the left one heals a little bit. They all have different elements they can cast, but it's a pretty standard boss battle, but it gave, I think, the right amount of challenge for this game.
Plus, it was a Hydra. Barbarossa turned into a Hydra with
Sick
his
as hell.
sword.
And I think everyone at this point in time was like probably expecting to face Wendy here.
Yeah. Yes, I definitely was.
Yeah.
I kill this thing and it super explodes into red light.
Yes.
No victory music. Afterward, music. Bloman Castle plays.
Echoes of an Elusive Age. Not elusive. What is that? Echoes of a... Is that Echo?
Echoes of an Elusive Age is... shit, that's something.
It is something. Echoes.
It's an elusive age. Is it a final? No.
Several people are typing right now in the real net.
I have to know the. Please tell me the answer.
Oh yeah, Wayne Tokame, class 44. Thank you, Dragon Quest 11.
Oh right, of course.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Complete edition.
Anyway, that song's playing. Not Dragon Quest.
I love alliteration. Barbarossa says an excellent last boss death line.
Yeah. Whoa, buddy. Holy shit.
And then he takes a knee. Then all of his living former generals walk up.
Yes.
I guess if they're in your party, they're just here, maybe?
I guess so, yeah. And if they're dead, because you can take off Milich. I don't know if you can take off Milich's head. I think you can take off.
I think you can kill Milich.
And Quanda.
Kasem, Milich, Sonya, and Quanda are here.
Yes.
Kasem says, Your Highness, you've changed, Your Highness. Why? We believed in you. Barbarossa replies and says, Kasem, I've missed you, and I missed those days we fought together. Kasem tells Barbarossa he was deceived by Wendy? But then Wendy beams in.
Yes.
And walks over to Barbarossa, who was just a three-headed Hydra. Says, Barbarossa, what happened? You lost? The Golden Emperor, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Initializing fake net.
Hi, it's me. Tokame from the Real Net chimed in on the title of Golden Emperor, which gives us more context for this scene. According to the Suikoden Kiwami Encyclopedia, the title Barbarossa earns is Huangjin Huangdi, which literally translates to Golden Emperor. It's his hero name, given to him as a respectful term due to his great leadership that saved the country. Thanks, Tokame. I love you. Bye.
Wendy then takes a step back and raises her hand. Says, and you call yourself the Golden Emperor, for shame. But then Kasem gets in on this, steps forward.
Yeah, he's pissed at this insult.
Says, how dare you insult your highness? Wendy replies, don't be silly. She then zaps Kasem and he takes a knee, croaking out a your highness before falling over. Chris, is he dead?
I don't think he's dead.
Okay.
Because he has an epilogue, I think.
He does.
Also,
but it looks like he's dead. It looks like she just fucked him up.
I think Kasem is the representative of the generals here because he's the only one that we have to have.
That can't die?
Yeah. Because...
Or can't be dismissed.
Right.
Sonya,
you could leave Sonya in jail.
Yeah. That'd be funny. Wendy then laughs, then eyeballs Tyr and says, ha ha ha, now it's your turn, Tyr. This empire is dead, but I'll still take your soul eater and give it to me. What was the point of the empire?
The point of the empire...
Like, she just wanted the soul eater. What the shit is the rest of her game with all these other...
Well, her original plan was to take it from Ted. And I think that things just escalated.
I say Ted lived in the house next to her palace.
Yeah. And...
Just go in there and get it.
Well, I think she must have had some sort of...
Surely there's a census.
Also, she knew what Ted looked like.
Yeah. Let's not think about these things.
No,
Chris.
I don't want to think about that because that breaks a lot of things.
Wendy steps forward and does magic shit to Tyr.
I think she's absorbing my fucking body.
Then the screen goes black. And then who all walks out and beams in?
Everybody that's been absorbed by the Soul Eater. Ted, Gremio, which is weird.
Which is very strange because Gremio is back at the palace.
Man, I should have brought Gremio
what if you
with
bring
me.
Gremio? Yeah, it'd be tight.
And also, of course...
Odessa and Teo.
Odessa, yeah.
They all beam in and wild shit happens inside of the diamond they made by standing there. And then Wendy gets like nuked. Like they do magic shit to her inside their diamond configuration.
They are kicking Wendy out of Tyr's body or something.
Out of the soul.
Why do you reject me, Soul Eater? You control life and death and eat souls. I am your ideal host. Together let us take revenge on this cursed world. Even you reject me, Soul Eater. Even the most cursed rune refuses me.
I hate it when cursed runes refuse me.
Me too. Is she admitting
She's starting to get it, I think.
Yeah.
She's starting to get like, it didn't take. Like you tried to mix the ingredients and you just got diarrhea.
This is a moment. Not a moment, an opportunity, because the theme of sadness begins to play.
Guitar version.
Yes, and Barbarossa has stood back up and grabs Wendy by the arm.
Says, that's enough, Wendy. Stop it. Stop doing this. Wendy can't believe this shit. What are you doing? I'll destroy you with my magic. Barbarossa tells Wendy it's no use. What? Question marks. The rune on my Dragon King sword, the Sovereign rune, is protected against any form of magic, even the rune of the gate. That's a micro. Well, any form of mind. Shut up. We can't think about these things.
So some information on the Sovereign rune, which isn't in the game, but is in something.
It's on the game. Barbarossa's got it.
It's in the game.
The information.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
This information that I'm giving you is, I don't think, in the game, but it's a true rune that was passed down through the Rugner fellers.
Darius Rugner, right?
Barbarossa Rugner, Gale Rugner, War of Succession.
Barbarossa's last name is Rugner.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Funny.
Yeah.
It's amazing what I've forgotten.
Yeah, he fought Gale Rugner in the War of Succession and won, and part of the... Which makes... Well, if the rune is in the sword, do you have eternal life? I don't think so.
I don't know. Sword lives forever.
Now think about. I was about to say, like, if you were immortal,
Check.
there would be no succession because you would never die. So there'd be lots of wars.
If you're immortal, you would never die, but you can be killed, right?
Yeah, it's true. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's why there would be
right.
wars of succession over that. Anyway, that's where he got the sword.
But
and the rune.
This is the mic drop here is that Barbarossa wasn't mind fucked.
No, he was
He was
here.
doing all this of his own volition.
Yes.
And my next note is LOL. Kasem is still face down.
Yeah, somebody's got to help that guy out.
Wendy can't help this kid up. Wendy can't believe this shit and says, "But with the black rune, you were." And then Barbarossa says he lied. And then he pulls Wendy back up to the ledge of the castle. Wendy, seemingly scared, asks Barbarossa what he plans to do. Barbarossa, arms around Wendy, says, "I loved you." Wendy then shakes her head and squints and says, "Liar, you loved my resemblance to Claudia. Chris, I think it's time for couples therapy."
Yes.
Barbarossa counters, "That's not true. I wanted to erase the sadness that lies hidden deep in your eyes. The sadness of the one who cannot accept others. I loved you, but that was a mistake. It was my
only mistake, but it cannot be forgiven.
I don't know if that's his only mistake, Chris. But
But
what's he saying here? Like, he tried to fix her as she tried to manipulate him?
He saw through her ruse and wanted to help her. So I guess Barbarossa is indeed a kind man. But also, that's not love.
Yeah, it's not love, and he let his generals be manipulated. At least two of them.
Yeah, and he was very nonchalant about remember when Futch was there? He was very nonchalant about, Wendy must be up to her.
Yeah, he kind of knew. He let his guard down a little bit there, but I did think that's still a thematically interesting scene.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it wasn't what I expected. The Futch scene is a top 5 scene in this game for me.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was just a little weird. But so he's
fine. But he still tried to kill us? Or, like, did he want the Soul Eater for himself? What did he still try to fight us for? What are we doing?
I think he's tied up on some honor bullshit, maybe.
Oh, okay. Like Ain Gide. Maybe that was foreshadowing, since Ain Gide was, like, ready to go at it. Also,
sorry, my stone tablet's all filled up, man.
Sorry.
Taking you out.
Seat's taken. Wendy shakes her head and says, please stop at Barbarossa. But he keeps talking and says, as a result of my mistake, I lost my empire. Tyr, what kind of land will you create in its stead?
Steed or stead?
Stead?
I think it's stead.
Stead.
In my stead.
Stiff.
Steed. What kind of land will you create on my horse?
My steed. The music stops and the windy roof noises resume.
Yes.
Then Sonia Sholin chooses to talk. What'd she say, Chris?
I don't know. I have Sonia, Milich, and Quanda all shout various honorifics.
She says Emperor Barbarossa. Milich says his name too. Quanda Rosman says Your Highness. Barbarossa says farewell, and then the motherfucker leaps off the edge with Wendy in his arms?
Yes.
The whole screen shakes.
Yeah, cool animation for this too.
That's pretty good,
cape's
dude.
blown. Yeah,
that's pretty good. Wendy's immortal, right? Is the fall from the top of the shit? Can she just fly away? What are we doing?
Wendy's not immortal.
Beam in, beam out.
Wendy can't age out of existence.
I know, but can't she teleport? Wouldn't you teleport in midair? Is Wendy alive in Suikoden 2, Chris? See us next time for the answers to this mystery.
Well, no, I think he's negating her magic with the King Dragon Sword.
But that's just the magic's effect on him. Does it create like a sphere of anti-influence?
I guess so.
Okay.
Like Victor should go get that sword. Then he'd have two fucking true rune swords.
Dual line lancers.
Yeah. That's exactly what it would be. Anyway.
Victor then tells it like it is. The end of the Emperor. And then Flick finishes the thought. In the end of the Empire. Chris, I bet they didn't imagine it going like this, but also war is not glorious.
No, it's not.
I think it's a real answer from two real motherfuckers. Kasem then stands up, and Victor says he doesn't think the palace will hold out for much longer, and we better get the hell out of here. So we're earthquaking now because two beings of power just jumped off the third floor? Like, is that what's happening now? Like there's an earthquake of magic from Wendy's deceased presence because like the gate rune's been freed?
That's true. The gate rune that has been freed, I guess maybe Leknaat did not absorb it yet. I don't know how that works. Also, like there's two true runes next to each other. Had to be like a
polarity thing?
Yeah, something, I guess, perhaps.
Music I have never heard before. Plays, maybe Theme of Tension, Tama Dator. There's like a new Theme of Tension playing, I think. I haven't heard this music.
Is this one that goes...
Well, it's playing in the background, so perhaps, maybe not. It was new to me, Chris.
Yeah, this was the first time I heard the song too, because I wrote down to look it up and I never did, because I was looking through the soundtrack to see. So a song plays, and it's good escape music, but it does sort of clash with the style of the rest of the music in the game, but I still like it.
I walk out and we're getting in random fucking battles. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Why am I slaughtering Imperial?
Ugh. Why are they still fighting?
At some point, a guard sees me and says, it's the Liberation Army. Don't let them escape alive. And we party out, and Victor says that he'll stall them, then tells me to go ahead. But we get a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be ridiculous, Victor, or hurry. I tell his ass to hurry. What'd you do?
I said don't be ridiculous.
I said hurry. What'd he do?
He says, Tyr, this country still needs you, but me, once the war is over, I'm useless.
Loves battles.
Yeah, he then tells Flick to take care of Tyr, and then we're off.
And for me, he says, don't worry, Tyr, I'm Victor the Invincible. I'll follow you soon.
Yeah, cool. He then steps to the soldiers. Anybody feel like dying today? Step forward. I'll fight until my heart stops.
That's how I run. At some point, arrows come out of the right side of the screen and impale Flick, who says, fool, be careful. But then Flick is fine. I guess he caught the arrow in his hand.
I think he was calling Tyr a fool because he had to take a bullet for Tyr.
Oh, okay.
And which, watch your language, Flick.
Tyr, you were chosen by Odessa to rebuild this country. I can't let you get killed here, or else Odessa will be furious when I see her again. Up there. Like heaven?
Yeah.
Go, Tyr, and fulfill Odessa's dream. Hurry. Chris, my guy, is aching to noble sacrifice.
Yes, he's got nothing left, man.
And you can say, I can't leave you here, or stay alive, Flick.
What'd you say?
Stay alive, Flick.
Can't leave you here, Flick.
What do you say?
Flick says he'll be all right. Victor and he will join Tyr later, he says. I keep saying that I can't leave him here. I get the choice again.
Over and over.
But he tells me to hurry and go. Then I say it again, and he says, go, Tyr. Don't disappoint Odessa.
Hell yeah.
And then it gets stuck in an endless loop.
What's that loop called?
Is it the Invisible Hand of Destiny?
I think that's the Invisible Hand of Destiny.
It's been a long time since we played the Invisible Hand of Destiny.
Yeah, hit it.
Suikoden.
I don't know. 6.
So it is Flick's destiny to perform a potential noble sacrifice. As we run off, Flick says...
Hold on. If you tell him to stay alive, he says it's a bit too early to see Odessa again. Our reunion can wait until I become a better man.
Oh, he says that to me as well at the end of all that.
Okay, yeah, so it erases the tension if he's going to survive or not.
Yeah.
Tyr then leaves, and then Victor runs up from behind to meet Flick. He asks where Tyr is. Flick says he's gone ahead. Victor says, what? Now we can fight. To our heart's content.
Yeah.
Flick laughs and says, yeah, too bad I have to fight alongside you. Then a voice says, Tyr has escaped this way. We must avenge the Emperor. Imperial guards approach, and Victor says, let's go, Star Dragon Sword. And then the sword talks.
Again, I love the sword. God, he's so good.
You sure know how to treat a man. Chris, is the sword a man, or does the sword just like killing men as a treat?
The sword feels like he's a man because he kills men, but he's not a man.
Okay,
he's already said he's the Night Rune incarnate or whatever. So,
They both draw their swords, and Flick says, in the name of my sword, Odessa, I won't let you pass. Fade to black.
You forgot one thing.
What's
before
that?
It fades to black. Flick and Victor kiss.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They kiss, and then they sword fight.
Cuts back to Greg Minster.
It says, I think, beginning theme plays?
I don't think there is a beginning theme in this game, but it is the beginning theme.
Okay.
The up-tempo portion of that song. The same thing that played at some point.
The second half or whatever?
Earlier, yeah.
A bunch of our guys are at the front gate. Tai Ho's here. He says, look, we won. LePont says the Empire is destroyed. Kirkus says, we did it. We did it, Sylvinia. Sylvinia says Kirkus's name, and then they face each other. Cleo tells me, it has ended at last, Master Tyr. Pawn says a less eloquent Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
Our empire has been destroyed. Dude, it's their empire now.
Yeah, I need to go get my food journal.
Hicks and Tengar put their arms around each other's backs as Hicks says, look, Tengar, we won. We defeated the Empire. And I wanted it to be like a personal slight that I took Tengar with me to the end and not Hicks. But
yeah, it didn't work out.
Didn't happen. Then they pull apart, shake, and Tengar says, ouch, ouch, don't pull me like that. Hicks rubs his head like he's an anime and says that he's sorry.
Yeah, it is a very anime-esque scene with some more unique sprite work there.
Fletch says something upsetting, a much less confident, Black is avenged, I guess.
Yeah. Humphrey says it's over.
Gen looks over at Commandol and says, hey, old man, aren't you lucky you got to see all this before kicking the bucket? Commandol replies, stop calling me old man. The music fades.
There was some... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
There was some animation there because Gen was like backslapping Commandol, and then Commandol was like raised his fist and
you old older snapper.
Oh, gosh.
The music fades and we fade. It comes back up as touching theme plays, and we're in a war tent.
I got Theme of Sadness, but okay.
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 I think... we'll
figure it out.
Yeah.
Matthew, who's in bed?
It's Matthew.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're in a tent, I guess, somewhere.
It's like a war tent.
On the battlefield, yeah. He asks Lucan if we won. He hears the voices. Lucan says yes, undoubtedly. Matthew says that he despises war. I always felt that to take a life of another for whatever reason was wrong. And yet I become a military strategist.
A medical officer.
A surgeon general.
I would never thought of that before.
Don't smoke. And took many lives. Did I do the right thing?
Tough one.
Yep, perhaps I should have remained at that village. fishing in my idle moments until my death.
Damn, dude, deathbed regrets. I hope I don't have those, Chris. I want to die instantly.
Yeah, and who wants that shit? Lucan then says the answer to that is, and then he says ... then he pauses.
He was about to tell us the fucking answer?
Yeah. Is fate unchangeable? No, I think he was going to tell Matthew that he did the right thing. Did Matthew do the right thing?
I guess we'll see in Suikoden 2 what happened to the glorious island fortress in this particular empire.
Are you asleep now, Master Matthew? May you rest in peace. You have accomplished so much in your life. It appears Master Matthew has died. Eric.
Yeah, it lingers on this shot for a long time before it fades to black. The screen then stays black for an even longer time before doing the Animal House ending thing for every single star of Destiny.
Yes, we get a song here called Requiem for an ending. Yeah, so now we've got character ending lines.
Everyone gets their own line, and it's like their own portrait. Is it in like sepia toned? Or did I just make that up?
I think it is sepia toned, but
Yeah.
I couldn't be for sure.
So there's 180 of these, so this could take 5 minutes or 2 hours.
I'm sure some of them will spur a discussion.
Do you want to alternate back and forth?
Let's do it.
Who's for? Well, I guess, does this go in order?
It goes in order of...
It's going in order of the webpage.
We're going in order of the webpage. Tyr became the president of the Tauran Republic and...
And.
So that just means like there's a future for him.
They made
So
him. They made him the president.
He's now the fucking president.
Notice it says
16-year-old.
Notice it says became the president, well, not elected president.
Became the president.
Yeah.
I just kinged myself. I mean, he would probably win the presidential thing. Now that Matthew's dead, Gremio dies protecting Hero in Sanier prison, or follows Tyr.
Pawn dies fighting Teo McDowell, or embarks on a journey to improve his imperfect self.
Chris, aren't we all on that journey?
Yeah, that's just called living, dude.
Yeah.
It's
If
called
you're
not.
trying.
It's called not being a weirdo.
Cleo, tired of fighting, continues to protect Teo's mansion. So
Protect a mansion without fighting.
I mean, if there's no one...
When they come to eat the ridge, Cleo's gonna have to fight.
This is true, but maybe Cleo dies without that ever happening, right?
It's true. Victor, missing in action in the final battle.
Wow. Chris, I like that they didn't wrap that up, that like escaped and became the hero, like became a vampire himself.
Yeah.
You know, they left it open-ended, even though there is at this point little chance of a possibility for a sequel.
Yeah.
Camille became the lancing instructor of the Republican Army, and that has to be Tyr's army because he's the president of a republic.
He's the president of the Republic, and we're calling ourselves the Republicans. You
Shit.
can already see how things are going here. Warren became the first chairman of Tauran Republic's Congress.
What do you think chairman means in that? I only know chairman in the context of Yakuza games.
Chairman, I think, just means that you
Underboss?
just hit the gavel.
Okay.
He's like the Speaker of the House. By the way, did it say was your place called the Tauran Republic, or was it called the Fuckhouse Republic?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I was like trying to take notes during all this, and eventually I just gave up.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good question. Damn it. It would have to be Fuckhouse. They wouldn't call it Tauran. No way. Well, I don't know. Varkas, named captain of the border guard. Sure.
Yeah, Vargas is in ice. It's not going well. Sidonia disappears.
That's so funny because he can disappear and reappear. That's a great joke. Humphrey leaves Tauran Republic with Futch.
Oh,
What?
they're on a journey. Remember, Joshua asked him to
look after him?
Yeah, they're going to go on a journey to improve themselves, I guess. Speaking of, Joshua returns to Dragon's Den to coach the Junior.
The Junior,
Yeah.
Junior. Arnold Schwarzenegger's pregnant with Sonic.
The Junior, like King Griffey Jr. They used to call him Junior. Yeah.
The ultimate junior. His rookie card. Flick disappears during the final battle.
Oh shit. Ladon enjoys success after opening an honest inn.
I want Sidonia to be paired with Flick, because Flick just says disappears in the final battle. Victor says disappears. If Sidonia just said disappears, no noun after it. Ladonia enjoys success after so I just think he went back to the same inn and just renamed it Honest Inn. He's a fucking scoundrel, Chris.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Kessler named captain of the Tauran Republic Patrol Corps. So that's like the cops?
I think that's the cops.
That's the cops. That's like the regular cops, not the army cops.
No, I think it's the army cops. We're starting off in Imperial rule. I mean,
Great.
not Imperial, what do you call it? Martial law. Matthew, hearing of the victory, he rests in peace.
Taiho returns to Kaku and enjoys a carefree life.
Sure, great. Yamku lives by the shores of Lake Tauran and enjoys fishing.
Luke disappears with Leknaat.
Okay.
So he just went back to return to old program.
Yep. LaPont returns to Kuon with his family and lives in peace.
I'm glad he found peace.
So some of these aren't accurate. Some of these don't actually come true. That's not accurate.
Oh, so these are not canon? We get some follow-up with LaPont?
Yeah,
Well, perhaps we just change Destiny with the sequel.
that's true.
Eileen, always by LaPont's side, failing the Bechdel test.
Yes. True. Giovanni starts his own business.
He's the one I scammed out of money, right? No.
LaPonte's manservant.
Oh, that's right. Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad he Kryn steals Gregminster Palace's treasure and vanishes.
Fucking Kryn, dude.
I want to bring him to justice.
Jupo departs on a journey to find a bigger trick.
Great. Bigger than the Wheel of Fortune trick. Kirkus works for rebuilding the village of the elves. Noble.
Thank you. Lucan opens a clinic where he saves many lives.
Boring.
Well, yeah, but remember he was a hermit before, so at least he's putting his skills to good use.
I guess.
Mhm.
Gen returns to Tyne where he continues to build ships.
Hey, once a boat guy, always a boat guy.
I love boat guys. Boat shoes.
Commandal still preoccupied with alchemal studies.
Me too. Tesla becomes a Secretary General of the Torn Republic.
I don't know what Secretary General is.
I think they just like made up random like governmental roles.
They went to USA.gov job openings. Kimberly forces her way into Taiho's household.
Force your way, please.
What is...
Forces her way in? That could mean like employed into service or jacks him off all day. Like what do we do? What's happening?
I think she like bamboozled him into marrying her.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Great. Excellent. Good for her. Kasumi returns to the secret hideaway at Rikaku. Hope we get to see that next time, Chris.
Yes. Mose works for rebuilding the new capital of Gregminster.
I'm anxious to see what they did with all the blacksmiths. If it just says that for all of them.
Yeah.
Kanto. Fuck is that?
He's the guy who gave us the boats.
Oh, right. Wields power as the head of the Merchants Guild.
Thanks for wielding your power.
I'm reading a book right now where they just executed the entire Merchants Guild. So that's
cool.
Weird.
What is it?
Blade itself.
Okay.
Joe Abercrombie.
Fukin returns to Quan Temple.
Great. I like how these people were like, yeah, I was up, but I got a house back there that I can just go back.
I'm going back to my duties.
Taggart becomes assistant to Warren. Wasn't he already?
I think he was already assistant, yeah. Futch departs with Humphrey on a journey.
Logic matched. Milia returns to Dragon's Den where she resumes her duties.
Great.
There's 2 for Tengar. Yeah.
So one of them, the second one that I'm about to read, is in the game's code, but not used. So perhaps they were going to make like Hicks a killable character or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, the one that's in the game says follows Hicks on his journey, and the one that's not in the game says spends the remainder of her life in Warrior's Village. So I suppose that would be there if Hicks dies, but he can't.
Hicks, accepted as a true warrior, he departs on a journey. I guess without Tengar.
Well, she followed Hicks on his journey.
Oh, I see. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yes, they're together. Quanda becomes the commander-in-chief of the Republican Army.
I'm the president of army.
How many armies do we have now?
Valeria becomes the platoon commander and mediator with the elves.
You don't, cops are not great mediators.
No, they're not.
I mean, I know that Valeria has a relationship with the elves, but...
Yeah, because she was imprisoned by them.
Milich spends his life protecting the graves of Barbarossa. Barbarossa has 2 graves.
Yeah, he was separated into 4 pieces.
Yeah.
Buried into 4 different graves.
I don't know if that...
Bury my head separately from my body.
I don't think that's accurate either, because I think Barbarossa has been considered missing since this game.
You should just have placed flowers on the graves. Griffith begins a business.
Great.
That's not whatever.
Well, he's joined the winning side. And the winning side is capitalism.
Yeah, it's right, Chris.
Cassim becomes the commander-in-chief and protect the border.
That's like our second commander-in-chief.
How many? We have 2 ISIS now, I think.
Sonia becomes 2 ISIS. North ISIS and South ISIS. Sonia becomes admiral of the Republican Navy.
Fuck. Sylvina marries her childhood sweetheart, Kirkus.
All women exist to marry men.
Yes, that's the way it works, because Kirkus does something. Sylvina, she's just wife.
Stallion departs to become the fastest man in the world, just like me.
Stallion, I think you are. Ronnie Bell, said to be training for homemaking.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Vincent de Boule returns home and claims his inheritance.
Oh, so
is that true?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess he really was an aristocrat.
I think that the ending says so.
I don't know. I have no idea if Vincent is in any other game, so maybe we'll never know. Carol Mimi becomes village chief of Cobalt. Sure. Great. Congratulations, Carol Mimi. You're a great warrior.
Alan and Grenseal. Let's say this at the exact same time, Chris. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Appointed co-commander of the Republican Guard.
How many? Good bit.
How many guard? There's a lot of different organizations that Tier Micdol is sanctioning here. Anji plans to go into the shipping business and make a bundle
of money.
Yeah, you want to do the bit again? Leonardo and Kanak?
Yes. Goes into business with Anji.
Great. Yeah, go ahead.
Kage, saying his contract is up, he disappears.
Yeah, he does, I guess.
Ninja vanish.
Sheena, wandering around and having a good time, as usual.
Same. Mm-hmm. Apple goes off to collect material for the biography of Matthew.
Oh.
It's a noble purpose.
Wonder what that material could be.
All the books at his house.
Oh. Esmeralda lives a comfortable life with a garden full of roses.
Great. Fusulu was in Kobold for a while, then set off on a journey.
Gon, who's a character in this game, the doggy guy, working hard to become the #1 warrior in Kobold. I guess probably should say Kobold Village, but
Sure. Ruby welcomed into the restored village of the elves.
where's my Ruby fanfic? Lot.
You have to write it, Chris.
Oh, okay. Lot lives in a small house with Mina the cat.
Who could have thought?
Mm-hmm.
Fuma invited to Rikaku.
Oh, cool. Lorelei sets off on another land to find another adventure.
Morgan returns to Klon Temple and resumes his studies. Who the fuck is Morgan?
The blind fighter from...
Oh, right. Yes.
Quincy returns to the forest.
Mina becomes the most popular dancer in the Republic.
Oh, the Republic, eh? Blackman returns to his fields.
Kreutz leaves the country.
Yep, Kirk throws away his scythe and becomes a farmer. Eric.
Farmers require scythes.
Yeah. Like, I think a scythe was originally not a weapon, it was a tool.
Yeah, you're supposed to lay down your arms and
Throws away his beheading scythe and becomes a farmer.
becomes his wheat chopping scythe.
Yes, a de-weeding scythe.
Meg leaves home saying, quote, adventure calls.
Yeah, you know, one thing that we forgot to do in the course of the game was take Meg to Lennencamp where her parents live, and they would say something to her.
Oh, really? There's a scene there?
Yeah, not really a scene, they just acknowledge her.
Something.
Yeah, like when you take Flick and these guys like, oh, it's Flick.
Yeah.
Max retires from knighthood.
It's better than dies drinking.
Yeah.
Sancho happily continues to serve his master and places flowers on his master's grave daily as the separate one that's not cited.
Well, the second one can occur if Max dies in the war battle.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right.
George disappears north, saying he found a good business.
I invented a memory game. Rock. The Rock is assigned to design a giant safe for the dwarves. He sets to work.
Great. Melody departs to collect all the sounds of the world.
Does she know Franz?
Yeah, hot sounds, maybe.
Window accepts an offer to design stained glass windows.
Finally. Gaspar still tossing dice at Kaku
Unambitious.
with infinite money.
O'Neill still loves to gossip.
By the way, O'Neill was supposed to be our gossip member that tells us where to go next, but she never said anything
No, she's a
different.
shit.
I think it was just an idea that they didn't implement until the much later games. Zen, the ancient castle of Torin is still full of flowers.
That's not it. That's just a description of the castle. That's
Yeah.
what the Sarah working as a maid at Marie's Inn. Jesus.
Kai, appointed martial arts instructor.
Ike departs on a journey in search of worthy opponents.
Are you strong? Sergei becomes rich off his inventions.
Hugo appointed the Republic's first Chief Justice. These are very American terms for this shit, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, isn't like Chief Magistrate? Like, what are...
The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is the guy that you met in a temple library. Just like Justice Scalia, retire bitch. Danny DeVito.
Whoa, you telling me I'm the crap?
Templeton departs for the sea in search of the edge of the world.
It's not true. Fucking guy interpreted his map literally. I don't know. Is this a flat Earth? Not our Earth, but the Suikoden Earth. Is it flat? Do you ever see a globe? Is there a space program? Can you prove any of this shit?
I think this is one of the few RPGs where we don't go to space.
Ivanov sets off on a journey to find the color of freedom.
What color's that?
Black?
I guess. I mean,
Iridescent fuchsia?
whatever the color of the inside of my eyelids is. Sansuke, keeping busy designing new bathtubs.
Great. Also my dream. Jabba placed in charge of the Republic's finances.
Why would you do that?
Because he can estimate the worth of material NFTs to invest in.
It's true. Marie reopens her inn at Gregminster.
Vicky failed at teleportation. She disappears without a trace.
See you, Vicky. We'll catch you next time.
Stuck in purgatory.
Quan,
The guy.
gladly accepts an offer to be the keeper of Torin Castle. Yeah, I think it's implied that we all left.
Yeah.
And you were like, stay
This
here.
was pretty fucked up. And Clone was like, hey, you watch after this. Make sure no one else does what we did.
Is he just a tour guide now?
Sure.
Okay.
It's what he ambitioned to. Ambitiized? Aspired to do. Jesus. Hellion succeeds like not as seer.
Cool.
You do that?
I mean, you need somebody to do the astral reading. What do they call it? Astral projections? No.
Yeah.
No, astral.
Gate.
See the first episode 2. I don't know. We talked about it then. Jean resumes her career as rune master at Entai.
Cassios departs to spread the Liberation Army's songs.
Yeah, sing my song, Cassios. Play it on your Casio. Antonio, still the cook at Marie's Inn.
Lester opens a restaurant specializing in stews.
Oh, you should hire Gremio. Moss, dissatisfied with his work, he resumes his studies.
Mies goes to the village of the dwarves to improve his skills.
And Moose becomes master blacksmith.
Marco leads a vigorous life.
Yeah.
What?
Always trying to
I
hide
pride myself in my vigor.
rocks under my cup. Takes a lot of vigor. Chapman retires from the armory and successfully opens a theater.
Noble. Chandler finally succeeds in opening his own store.
He did that. It was in our castle.
Well, I mean, it was in our castle.
Okay,
This is like
yeah.
a private business.
Mace lets Moose succeed and retires.
Leon Silverberg spends the remainder of his life in his hometown.
Not true.
Where's his hometown?
I don't know, but that's also not true. Because
It'd be funny if he went back to that shit-ass dump.
Yeah. Clive, by the time the war was over, he was gone. It's not true. He was in my party. He was shooting the fucking dragon in the face.
Yeah. Pesmerga, still in search of Uber, he leaves the country.
And finally, Crowley. Despising the world, he returns to the caverns, just like me. That's the end of the epilogue. I hope everybody enjoyed the epilogue. We got more notes, though, I'm sure.
It fades out to an image of a rune, then does a staff roll.
Yeah.
Post-credits, noises, crickets, and owls. Which I'm ready to acknowledge as owls and not howling
Oh, did you get the
wolves.
credit song?
Oh, no, it wasn't.
It's called Adventurino Antes Lance Mao. The fight is over.
Okay, well, that's playing now. We're not going to play the crickets.
Okay.
What happens in this epilogue?
Well, Eric, what happens is that I receive my first piece of evidence that the Liberation Army has established a neoliberal order that it simply emulated the status quo and will ultimately fail again because Tyr sees this coming. He sees the writing on the wall. He sees all these goddamn Republicans creating all these goddamn institutions that are doomed to fail, and he and Gremio get the fuck out.
Yeah, that's what had, like, Tyr and Gremio walk down the castle path. Like, he abdicates immediately? Or is this meant to be like years later and he's still wearing his 16-year-old gear?
Well, he became the president. Like, how many days did he have to spend as president before he said, this ain't gonna fucking work? This is not what my destiny was to restore order to this country, and I shan't govern.
It ends with a graphic, like a single screen of Tyr and Gremio looking out into the wilderness of the great beyond. And then it says the end in blue on the bottom right.
Yes, Tyr and Gremio are there. If Gremio has died, then
That's a weird
just
ending.
Yeah.
Like to have like the Animal House shit and then this.
Tyr's immortal.
Oh, right, because he's got that rune, of course. Yeah.
So
for now.
Is he just going to wander? We'll have to find out.
For there being, because spoilers for the open, I was doing a bit of research. There's not a whole lot of info about Suikoden 2 out there that I could find, but Murayama, and this could just be PR, says it only exists because fans asked for it. I don't know if that means fans bought a lot of it or people just kept asking Konami where it was going to be.
He did mention that he was quite touched by the fact that he got a lot of like fan letters and stuff as the game circulated.
Well, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I guess they were more positive back then rather than people on Twitter saying, give me new game.
Yeah.
Please. There's no please usually. So I enjoyed Suikoden.
Yeah, it's a good game.
I'm glad I had that under my belt. It was ambitious for its time in a way that RPGs, like it didn't try to wow people with, I mean, it was the pre-Final Fantasy VII, but graphics were not part of the deal here. It was scale, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, in a sense, Moriyama and his team took a look at an RPG and said, let's make one of those. Whereas, like, somebody like Sakaguchi says, let's change the fucking game. Like, Suikoden doesn't try to change the game. It's just like, well, let's hear something nice that you can enjoy, and then we hope to build upon.
And given its development timeline, it had to, I think this development and planning must have started before Chrono Trigger, before Final Fantasy VI. So, like, the most fondly remembered 16-bit games still were not out yet.
And Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI both are two of, perhaps, in terms of sprite-based RPGs, some of the most expressive in terms of character expression. And this game, it doesn't have as much to play with, but especially towards the end of the game, there's a lot of really good sprite work that kind of sells the
they tried.
Yeah.
There were some special one-off things.
Yeah, it's really great. And they continue that into Suikoden 2 at a much higher clip. It's great.
So for Suikoden 2, I have an expectation section, and I've got one note. Chris, throughout school, let's say grades 1 through 6, my report card always said the same two things.
Yeah?
1, has trouble staying on task.
Okay.
Which is irrelevant here.
Mm-hmm.
Although that, my wife used to call me that literally when I wasn't paying attention to something. She would say, hey, has trouble staying on task.
Yeah.
And the other, which is my note for Suikoden 2, is needs to show improvement.
Yeah.
So Suikoden 2 comes out, 4 years later, 99, 2000, something like that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I expect like the full weight of a generation of knowledge to be impressed upon this. And I think my expectations of that are crafted by people Like Suikoden 2 is in the breath of not only best 32-bit RPGs of all time, but best JRPGs of all time conversations.
Yes, often.
And that is not something I would... Like, I enjoyed Suikoden, but I don't see it as a best game ever type material.
Yeah.
And for Suikoden 2 to evolve into that, and even be talked about more than 3, 4, and 5, really.
Yeah.
Like, I have large expectations for this, for a game I've never played and barely even seen.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you one hint on the improvement.
Please tell me the improvement.
It has a run button.
Great.
So no need
Excellent.
to waste a rune slot.
Although I do find it interesting that it still prefers pixel art, right?
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about the development in the next episode, I guess.
Yeah.
There's not a ton, like you said, there's not a lot. There's not a ton out there, but I do have a quote that I want to talk about how Murayama decided to build the world rather than build the tech. I think was his kind of ethos there.
My pie in the sky stuff is a castle full of people that constantly say different things, and like things to acquire Stars of Destiny that are both more and less esoteric. Like I don't want to crawl through walls in a cave to get Crowley again. I don't want any shit like that.
Yeah.
And I don't want anything where to get Sarah where I had to go like give sugar to someone like
yardsticks.
Yeah, I want them to dispense with the gimmicks and actually get something more contextually satisfying, which is a big ask for any kind of PlayStation game.
Yeah, honestly, I don't remember how this game treats that kind of
like,
stuff.
I'm hoping to see more sophistication. I want to see better writing. I want to see a better localization.
The localization is not better.
Okay, great. It has to be better. It has to be a little bit better. It has to be like 10% improved.
There are parts in the game that are just not translated. It just shoots out wingdings at you.
When I would review games early, there were sections like that were unlocalized. I got a Persona 4 disc where like 20% of the disc was like that.
Yeah.
It sucks that they shipped that.
And speaking of which, I'm going to play a patched version of the game that fixes that and fixes a few of the other bugs, which we'll discuss later, just because I've always wanted to play that version of it. And
for the science, I'm playing the straight version.
See the power of it. I don't think there's any like game breaking bugs, especially if you keep enough save files. But there's some annoyances, some missing music, stuff like that.
Did you have to apply that patch yourself via patcher, or did you find a file?
There's a patcher that you can get. Suikoden Source actually has the patcher, so I applied it to my
that stuff's neat
to my thing, and then I now have a patched disk image, so it's pretty easy to do. And it actually lets you select which patches to apply, so which bugs you want to fix, because there's some bugs that are advantageous to the player, like in terms of like getting extra money.
Give me money.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about that in Season 4, Part 2, Season 4, Episode 23, Suikoden 2. But Chris, tell me...
Episode 161.
Not counting Patreon.
Episode 162 of the regular... I think this is 161. Eric, please tell me the answer. Is Fate unchangeable? Like the thematic blanket of this game? Did it really engage with that, do you think?
I think we tried to change Fate, but the Invisible Hand of Destiny came and wiped it away.
It depends on your interpretation. Like, is the gathering of the 108 Stars of Destiny changing Destiny, or is that just Destiny?
I think it's Destiny.
Okay.
If it's on a goddamn plaque, I believe we are engaging in Destiny.
But we don't have to get them all.
But we did.
Yeah.
That was Fate.
It depends on how you see Fate in this game's world, but I think the world is bound by a specific kind of fate in a few specific ways, and I think I might need to leverage some Suikoden lore from later installments that aren't Suikoden 2 or 1. So I'm going to engage with some of the lore that I've read over the years here. The world that we live in here in Suikoden is subject to the kind of whims of the true runes. They're almost like, they almost have their own... Well, obviously, we know from the Star Dragon story that they have their own kind of...
Destiny controllers.
Yeah. So the governance of existence. But each one of them, especially like we know this from the Soul Eater, and we'll know this about some other stuff later in the series, that these are kind of like power hungry or like destruction minded kind of entities or gods, ultimately, whether directly or indirectly, lead to war and oppression. This entire war that we just fought was ultimately about the Gate Rune, the acquisition of the Soul Eater, and things of that nature. I think we learned this from like an old book in like one of the 4 or 5, but there is some sort of like primordial nothingness that the true runes seek to achieve.
So just total annihilation? What?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. They're trying to go back to the beginning, to the way it was before whoever created man. And part of that is like bringing upon this destruction and bringing upon, like, in freeing themselves from humans. Because in many cases, in most cases actually, the true runes are held by humans, by people. So the true runes don't have their own destiny in their own hands. So in my opinion, I think Suikoden says yes, fate is changeable. Well, but only if certain conditions are met, like the gathering of the 108 Stars of Destiny. Like that's the only way that we can break the bonds of what we're being held into.
The bonds of sea and fire.
The bonds of sea and fire, yes. So Also, I wanted to briefly talk about my re-experiencing this game for the first time in a long time.
Yes.
Like what was in my head when we started and how do I feel about it now? The game, I think, mechanically is as simple as I remembered it being. And of course, I remember things like the inventory system and some rough edges, but that was all intact in my memory. But I think as a narrative work, it's a bit more complex than I remembered. I thought it was going to be a little bit drier than it was. Actually wondered how...
Shades of gray in there.
Yeah, I wondered how hard it would be to podcast about this game because I didn't know how much there was to latch onto. But it turns out there was a lot. I mean, there's fucking 22 episodes. We talked about the seeds that it plants with Uber and the city-state of Joustin and some of the geopolitical stuff. I think those are kind of well-reasoned nuggets that were planted, not even knowing the game was going to have a sequel. And I didn't remember that most of that stuff was there. And also what I like about this game, that it doesn't go out of its way to explain everything. It walks the line of here's what's going on in the foreground, and the background will give you hints and nuggets.
Did we need the shit from Winnie, not about the front and back gate room stuff?
We didn't need the specific lore, I don't think. I think we probably needed to know about the clan of the gate, but all that extra stuff, I don't think so. But I mean, even if you remove Wendy from this entire game, I think it still works. It's just a game about a war for the most part. I have some water margin thematic stuff here.
Okay, let's talk about the water
so
margin.
I'm going to read this
Chris
off.
just slapped the book.
Yeah, I slapped the book. But I was reading the introduction of a copy of the water margin that I have, and I noticed something interesting, something I didn't really know about. And I think this game, whether it was on purpose or not, inherited some of the theming from water margin. All 4 of the classic novels of China were kind of infused with these Confucian values, the shit you've heard of. What do you know about Confucian values?
Zero. Nothing.
Name a value that's probably it.
Don't eat pizza rolls after 9 p.m.
Loyalty, righteousness, and brotherhood. It's that kind of shit, right? And even one of my favorite scenes in Romance of the Three Kingdoms was the oath in the peach tree garden, where these 3 dudes swore an oath of brotherhood that became a foundation for that story.
Bless you for thinking I would know any of that. I appreciate that, Chris.
No, yeah, it's great. I found a controversial, we'll say, Confucian value that the water margin kind of plays with. It's the right to rebellion, the value of rebellion. So I started reading shit and try to tie this back to the game. So let's go back to 1923 and read the International Journal of Ethics, volume 33, number 2.
Let's do it. Because I think about this all the time.
Yes. It's called Revolution as Taught by Confucianism by Gilbert Reed. He's quoting somebody named Dr. Ernest Faber.
The Northern England Fabers.
The learned scholar of things Chinese. He made the following statement. Confucius himself appears to have regarded with favor rebellious movements in hope of bringing a sage to a throne. Mencius, who was also a Confucian philosopher, is very outspoken in this respect. He justifies the dethroning and even the murder of a bad ruler. No wonder then that rebellions have occurred on a large scale over 50 times in about 2,000 years, and local rebellions are almost yearly events, speaking about this particular ethos and how it carries through Chinese history. I feel like that DNA is in Suikoden. According to Edwin Lowe, who is a dude who wrote the intro in my copy of the Water Margin, he says that the novel is infused with the most dangerous of the Confucian values. That's the right to rebellion, as we mentioned. He writes that the Confucian socio-political order will fucking break if failure of ethical and moral example from the emperor and his ministers results in systemic discord. This will, in effect, negate the mandate of heaven. Have you heard of the mandate of heaven?
No.
You never heard about the mandate? You did not learn about that in history class?
Yeah, sure. Ask me anything I learned in school over 20 years ago, please.
It was sort of the belief that the emperor had a mandate from God to rule.
Oh, George Bush, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we kind of exist in that space. We played that a little bit here in the U.S. But
played that a little bit, literally said, sure, yeah.
Yeah. So that mandate can be broken if the emperor is not a righteous person. The resulting social and civil disorder would then signal the right for the people to rebel and install a new leader that has the mandate of heaven. The mandate, I think, in Suikoden is it's me. It's Tenkai Star.
I'm the mandate.
The chief star of heaven, Tyr McDowell. That's the star of heaven that is occupied by the main character in the first 2 games. It feels like when the chief star of heaven is first made aware of that, like in this case, Tyr McDowell, then the mandate moves to the outlaws of the marsh, the water margins. I felt like that value exists in Suikoden 1 and 2 for that matter, because the rebellions that we're leading are considered by the game just.
I'm the hero of destiny.
Yes. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Just the value of rebellion and the people's right to do so was something that was very present in the water margin, and I think is also very present in Suikoden. And it interprets it literally, I think.
I'm glad you're able to make some connections and draw some lines between those two, because we kind of didn't cite water margin's influence perhaps as frequently as we should have, because it's a 1,000-page book.
Yeah, and what I thought that we would be able to glean from it was like, oh, this character maybe was inspired by this story or something like that. But as I read through it...
It's more of a theme as opposed to a direct influence.
Yeah, it's really just the collection of outlaws is the main thing. I think there was like some stuff taken from, like the Craze character was taken from a particular scene in that, but...
It cut his head off.
Yeah, it's gone. Rebellion, it's good. Fight the power. Check in with the RealNet, because they have the power.
Initializing RealNet.
Hello, RealNet. Thank you for being here with us tonight. I'm still scrolling. Here we are.
Here he is.
By the way, we didn't mention Gremio. He has, I think, maybe John
Two scars now?
Well, no, he has scars, but he also had a noble sacrifice for his people, and then he rose from the dead.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't rise from the dead. Someone rose him from the dead.
That's true. But he's the only one that she will resurrect. It's not like she go, oh, I'm going to bring back Maximilian.
Oh, she fucked up.
Eric Von Nine says this is some real remember your friends to fight time compression energy. Like,
yeah,
power of friendship.
Power of friendship and former friend generals and former people inside of our soul eater.
Yep. Shy Guy 32 asks if Gremio is doing a Groundhog Day.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Inside that dream.
Mr. Slyke says Wizard Mom brings back Axe Dude Mom. SSD Ninja says she brings him back just to say the stew is still burnt and then kills him again.
A cruel trick. A cruel Gremio's thesis.
Cal L says, Matthew built 500 boats in 3 hours. He's not impressed by Mom coming home.
Yeah, Matthew's out here turning water into ice. The true Christian miracle. You think Jesus ever saw ice?
Ice?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Think about it.
Like I'm trying to think about like
how cold does it get in the desert at night?
The earliest instances of man-made ice.
Recreational ice.
Yes. I don't know. John Doe says, I absolutely love that Greg Minster is buoying their numbers with fucking orcs. Yeah, I feel like we could have played with that a little bit more, but the game had to end. John Doe says, Uber is absolutely a last-second punt by Wendy. Yeah, that's a good way to describe what Wendy is doing. She's punting constantly. It's towards the end of the game.
Makes me wonder if she was using Uber earlier or if Uber was using her in that flashback.
That's a good question. Well, one of them's alive, one of them's dead, so. Hanger Moose says, Uber dies of old age if you leave your PlayStation off for a week.
Everyone should play Metal Gear Solid 3.
Shy Guy 32 says, Our Father who art in heaven, you mean my dad.
My father? You mean my dad? Yeah. My dad who art in heaven, you mean my father?
You know,
I'll be muttering that on my deathbed.
You know how Niston from our community is doing the narrated JRPG thing on YouTube? I pulled up the My Father, My Dad part yesterday just because I saw that the new one was out, and it's great.
It is.
Like,
it's good.
I mean, the voice actor plays it straight, which is what you should do.
Yes.
It's really good. By the way, I'm the voice of Franz in that.
Congratulations.
So you'll see that whenever they do a new episode. Eric Von Nine says, like being raised Episcopalian, I cannot hear "May the Force be with you," not reply, and also with you. Yeah, that's in Catholicism as well. John Doe says, "Rip Matthew, he's got anime wasting disease." I don't know what anime wasting disease is, but I
think a cursed doom fate, right? Like you've taken some kind of wound that you could recover from if the plot didn't dictate you had to die from it.
Yeah, that makes sense. SSD Ninja says 4 simultaneous Suikodens.
Nature's harmonious cycle. If this podcast was our only job, we should play Suikoden 2, 3, and 4 simultaneously and podcast about them each for a half hour every night.
Like the Trinity Site system.
Yeah.
John Doe says, I fucking love Ain Gide's callback to Victor's idiotic pseudonym.
It's a good callback. Yeah, the games calling it back like that is a real payoff, a good payoff for the player.
Cal L says, holy crap, Eric is engaging with the game's mechanics.
Just once.
There was some sort of Moby Dick tangent in the chat tonight. SSD Ninja says, Captain Ahab fights whales, fears nothing. Captain Acab fights working class, is bastard. That's really funny. SSD Ninja said, now feels like a good time to threaten violent revolt if we don't get a new God Bless the Ring.
Yeah, I was thinking about that recently.
Yeah, me too. We should figure something out sometime soon.
Before it's been a year.
Is it really?
July.
We did it last summer, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shy Guy 32 says, I can't wait for the guys to fight the super boss, Gregory Minster.
Gregory F. Minster.
Minister, excuse me. John Doe says, Barbarossa has maybe the most out-of-nowhere final boss monster transformation in JRPGs, not because he has a bunch of forms or a really, really ridiculous design, but just like, why the fuck does this dude turn into a fucking Hydra? Do they even fucking explain this? I don't think so, mate. It's just the power of the sovereign rune, which governs your sovereign right to be a dragon. John Doe says, Wendy wanted power. She was using the Scarlet Moon Empire as a power base while searching for other true runes. Regarding Gremio appearing in our Soul Eater trifecta or quadrifecta, is that a word? Quadrilogy. Anyway.
Diamond Fecta.
Yeah. Eric Von Eyne says, just because Gremio is alive doesn't mean he has a soul. So we kept Gremio's soul.
Something's missing.
Yeah. He didn't say much when he came out.
It's like just like an empty visage. He's alive, but he has no soul. Fuck. God, that's terrible.
SSD just says, Matthew lives if you feed him the fast-moving fish. Sid.
Always kill Sid.
John Doe says, Tyr becoming the ruler of the new country feels like all they've done is install yet another person who's really good at conquest and probably not great at actual governance.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
Likes to fight. Doesn't like to sit.
Flipminix says, 108 stars of GOP. John Doe says, immortal president with super death powers, nothing could go wrong here. There could be another reason that Tyr decided to leave. He's like, dude, I
shouldn't be doing this.
Not going to age. I'm going to look like this forever unless I give this fucking thing to Gremio or something.
But that's a mystique to it, like the boy eternal king.
Yeah. SSG just says, the two happiest days of a boat owner's life, the day they buy it and the day they sell it.
Or the day they sink it.
Boats are a pain in the ass, especially houseboats. I lived adjacent to a house, no, not like physically.
What?
Not physically, but my father-in-law had a houseboat for a good portion of the time that I've known him. And it's always like every time you go in there, it's just fucking fixing it. Spend all the time fixing it.
Yeah, boat's one of those things that if you neglect fixing, it just kind of sinks, right? Depending on what's busted.
Yeah, or just, I mean, a houseboat has like a plethora of problems. Like it can't fucking sail, like the air conditioner doesn't work, like all kinds of shit.
So just like a house, but floating.
Yes, just all kinds of stuff.
Shit around my place breaks all the time. Learn how to do grout next week.
Tokame points out that O'Neill's supposed to give hints on recruits, but I don't think she updates much, though. Yeah, I think they fleshed that out in Suikoden 2 with a couple of different characters, I think. John Doe says the color of freedom is red because all the blood.
Generally.
Eric Van Nine says Torin Republic went full El Salvador.
Chris, how are you on your Central American history?
Not good. Cal L's response to that is they bought a bunch of Bitcoin.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. That's right.
Oh, yeah, because you said something about Jabba doing that.
NFTs.
Psycho Paladin Jr. says it has been said that fate is like an ocean of stars.
A star ocean.
Sunnytail says Fate Net, which almost became the fake net,
yes,
right?
Yes, we had thought about that. We had thought we were going to change it to Fate Net and like just change that every single season.
Yeah, that would have been too hard.
With like the new voice.
What would the net be for Final Fantasy VIII?
Fate Net with an 8.
John Doe says the true runes are gods, but of the old variety. You don't want these fuckers waking up. It's a good way to say it. In-game quiz for Eric from Cal L. Are runes gloves?
Yes. Where else would you wear them and wield their power? I think that's obvious.
Psycho Paladin Jr. thought the mandate of heaven was the way of existence. Pretty much. Session of mandates. Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. That was a great RealNet.
And thank you for joining us this half season. Look forward to the next half of the season, which takes place. How many years in game does Suikoden 2 follow?
5, I believe.
5 years in game, 5 years in real time, but next week for you listeners.
I'm so excited to start Suikoden 2. I can't wait. We'll talk more about how we're playing the game next time, but please understand that I'll be using the patched version. Anything else to say?
Just the outro.
This episode is a production of Retrograde Amnesia, recorded on May 25th, 2022. Find us on Twitter at RetroAmnesiaPod or email us, podcast@retrogradeamnesia.com. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/retroam. You can get early access, bonus episodes, miniseries, and access to the RealNet. Until next time, Eric.
Thanks, Mark.
Shepard.
Thanks, Mark.
Shepard.
For the intro music.
I think that's it. I think you got to end on top.
Until next time, Eric.
I have no idea what happens in Suikoden 2. I have no idea even how to like lead into it or give some kind of ominous fate message about it.
Hold on, let me think about something, then we can reverse it.
Yes, we will talk to the girl, lady on the poster in the red shirt.
Yes, we will gather 108 motherfuckers once again.
Yes.
We're all over.
Do you mean to shoot this?
We're all over.
We're all...
Okay, we did it. Do you know how I experienced it for the first time?
Trogdor?
Yeah.
No, I can only imagine. Please tell me. Tell me the answer.
It's a great story. So this was like the week Trogdor came out.
Yeah.
I think. and I had not seen it, and I came over to
FakeNet, give me 10 seconds of Trogdor.
Initializing FakeNet.
Coming right up.
Burninating the countryside, burninating the peasants, burninating all the people in the thatched roof cottages.
I came over to your house, actually.
Okay.
You were probably there. And I walked into the room that used to be known as the temple.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, where the dog vomited on the Egyptian rug. Yes.
Yes. And there were, I don't know, 8 fuckers in there.
Yes, doing marijuana and also other illicit substances.
One of them was Mark Shepard.
It is my fault.
Okay.
Mark Shepard. I can't believe you unlocked this memory tonight, Eric. It's great. This is great.
Yeah.
Mark Shepard had
Mark wasn't around a lot in that era. Like
No,
Mark was like a rare encounter at that point.
I don't even really know if I really knew Mark that well yet at that point in time.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. He had an acoustic guitar with him. And he started singing the Trogdor song and playing the thing.
Yes.
And I remember our friend Nick he knew one of the lines of burninating the peasants, and I saw Nick singing along, and I was like, what is going on?
What's happening?
What is he singing? And then I found out later about it. I already knew about Strong Bad, but I hadn't seen that yet. So anyway, I appreciate that, Mark.
Yeah, there was a point in time where it took up to a week for one of your friends to tell you on AIM something cool on the internet. You didn't learn it every 15 seconds.
Yes, where's
your telephone?
Where's the aggregation? Okay, tell me the story. Please tell me the story.
Please tell me the answer. So
this is my story.
This is listen to my story. Mark's party was wonderful, but one of the featured games for the thing was Fighters Megamix, a game no one there had played except for me.
Okay.
And Mark's gaming friends are primarily fighting game community and adjacent people, like good at fighting games, mostly 2D Capcom games.
Yeah.
Although other games too, sure. But before, I had our buddy Nick who was going to come over, and we practiced Fighters Megamix in my basement for about an hour. Nick learned it. Fighters Megamix is a game I've played, third most fighting game of all time, behind Smash and Tekken 3 probably.
Wow.
So Mark seeds a tournament, and my character that I picked, not my best character, but I picked Janet from Virtual Cop 2. And Janet has a move in that game that no one else has, which she can pull out her service pistol and shoot someone, and it takes away 3/4 of their health.
Oh, okay.
It's the only projectile in the game other than Rent a Hero's bullshit.
That seems balanced.
Right. And no one else has played this game, and no one else knows about this. So they're going through the tournament. They're playing a fighting game like fighting game people. And then I get paired up with Nick, who's been practicing with Kage for an hour.
Yeah.
And he starts to approach me. I just pull out the gun and fucking shoot him.
Wow. Yeah.
And he dies in 2 shots.
Great.
And the screaming from the other room who were watching it on a projector was
great.
Wonderful.
Damn.
And I proceeded to execute the next 2 rounds before they figured out ducking could avoid the shot. It was exactly the scene in Indiana Jones where he just shoots the fucking
the whip,
swordsman.
the sword guy, the scimitar guy.
Just fucking fighting game where she pulls out a pistol and shoots a ninja.
That's awesome. I'm disappointed that I missed it.
Back, forward, punch and kick. I did think of one more pod-related issue. I can't fucking play Illusion Chronicles anymore. I can't play it anymore.
Okay.
I'm done.
That's fine.
I'm fucking done.
That's fine. You don't have to play it. It's not a great game.
I know.
But there are great things about it.
Right, which is what I want the pod to be about.
Yeah.
I got 6 hours. I've got like a page of notes and shit. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm just kind of writing. I didn't take notes while playing the game because I didn't expect to be doing this, but I've just been writing down some of the things that when I turned that game on and I said, Euden?
I have no idea.
They pronounce it in one of the trailers.
Whenever I Google it, I spell it. I fuck it up so bad that Google doesn't even know what I'm talking about.
There's a trailer where they pronounce it. But anyway, Euden Chronicles Rising, I wanted it to please tell me an answer about like what's the real game going to be like in terms of some of the writing and a few other elements that I wanted to know about. And so I've written about that stuff.
Okay.
And we can turn that into a podcast. It might only be 30, 40 minutes, but I think...
Yeah, we'll tack on trivia. I've got 50 questions.
Yeah.
6 I wrote just for you.
We could do that all in one night, but we could probably... We could separate that.
We'll see how long it goes.
For the fact that, like, if you are a patron of our podcast, you might not care about hearing us talk about Euden Chronicles, but you probably do want to hear us do dumb shit. So that's why I was thinking about separating those two things. Eric's pointing the Nerf gun at me. If you weren't here last week, we now have Nerf guns to shoot at each other with. But the understanding is that we will not use them, but they're there. We can. Welcome to Retro. Whoa. I'll turn myself down a little bit.
Internal flow.
No, it's not Eternal Flow. It's The Beautiful People or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the Marilyn Manson song. Play some of that.
No, don't play that.
Do not play that.
No. I wonder what kind of young master would have.
Hell yeah.
Eric can't save me here because he doesn't have this. They're peasants. They just want to go fucking home.
Yeah, I want to go home and mill
Yeah.
rice. That's not how that works.
King Dragon Sword, give me power.
I had Dragon King Sword.
Dragon King.
Barbarossa says, an excellent last ball of death. You know what's funny is I had another page of notes behind this, but it's a recipe for chicken curry.
Oh, can you make me a copy?
Yeah.
Are you making the curry yourself?
Yes.
Can I see the ingredient? No, I'm just kidding.
Yellow onion chopped, minced ginger, paprika, turmeric, coriander, ground cumin, canned crushed tomatoes, low sodium chicken broth, heavy cream, kosher salt, black pepper, basmati rice.
I probably have 75% of that.
Yeah, I need to buy coriander. That's the only thing I was missing.
I don't even know what that is. I had a recipe and I wanted to make my own and fucking don't want to do it out of the jar. It's not good.
Okay, Chris. So there's 100. Yeah, the jar thing. It's like it's okay in a pinch, but you really want to spice it up on yourself.
If you've been needing to make dinner in 25 minutes, then sure. Kimberly forces her way into Taiho's house. Kuromimi becomes chief. Kuromimi.
Chief village.
This is it. There's an army waiting for us in there.
Maybe we should come back later.
Nonsense!
Just like me.
Smile and look at me and hold a gun.
A complete ribeye steak dinner with soup, salad buffet, sundae, and unlimited Pepsi. Just $6.99.